We're coming on to Live Impact News with some breaking news. We've been following this all morning. A new CMPD chief has been named. Now, we just found this out about 2 hours ago. Her name is Estella Patterson. She will be the first female chief to hold this position, but she is no stranger to CMPD. Our Nate Morbido is here. Nate, you actually interviewed her when she was here back in 2021, so you have some familiarity with her.
Yeah, we interviewed her in 2021. At the time, we were investigating the city's SWAT team and how the SWAT team in its execution of search warrants was only used in certain parts of the city, like not in South Charlotte, but in other places of the city. And so that was the overarching conversation. But during our about 12-minute interview, Stella Patterson, then the deputy chief, answered all the questions, was pretty confident in her responses, particularly when it comes to why the department operates the way it does, but also open to make adjustments when they learn new things.
Great sign.
Right. That's what you want out of a leader, right? Someone who is not stuck in their ways, willing to listen. And I actually just saw a few minutes ago, the Fraternal Order of Police said that during its survey of members for the police chief search, they heard this name a lot. Stella Patterson is a person they might want as chief. And you know morale has not been great.
Yep.
The vacancy issue has been a real problem for the police department. And essentially, in his announcement earlier today to police officers, the city manager, Marcus Jones, said she has done a great job as the former chief in Raleigh of reducing the vacancy rate. Again, a big issue because we are not operating with a full police force. Also having a successful clearance rate for all homicides. Violent crime, of course, top of mind. And here's what she told me back in 2021 about violent crime.
For us, not just to be in those communities for enforcement. We should really be in those communities for visibility. They should see us even before a crime occurs or an incident happens, so that they know that we are concerned with what's going on in their communities.
Are you all trying to reduce the amount that you use the SWAT team to serve search warrants?
In terms of reducing them,
Yeah, I mean, so from what I'm hearing from police sources and also from the Fraternal Order of Police, this is a person that they thought would be a good leader. As we have reported, you and I, a lot this
Yeah.
year, there have been concerns about the outgoing chief.
And how that process went through, the transparency in that process itself.
Right, and transparency has been a big issue. And I thought that this was probably the right way to handle this. We were able to break this story because the city manager emailed all police officers to let them know, here's who we're going to hire. We're going to publicly announce it in a little bit. Here's what her priorities are. Here's why we're hiring her. So a good first step, too, from the city manager's office in saying, you all are the ones who are going to be working under her. We want you to know first before everyone else does. So I think that, you know, they are really trying to move forward in a new way over there. There was some thought that maybe this would be an external candidate, and it kind of was. She left the department, and now she's coming back. But by all accounts that I've heard thus far,
Yeah.
positive reaction to her being named, and also historic.
Yeah.
First woman, first African-American woman. Huge, huge news for the department.
I think it sounds like she got some, I mean, of course, it'll be nice to talk to her again, but so got some valuable experience in Raleigh leading a department there. And I mean, you mentioned it, the success rate with clearing these homicides, 100% of them solved, or that is a huge percentage. Even just looking at this, you got this internal email, Patterson told city leaders top priorities here in Charlotte are reducing violent crime, which has been, of course, a big issue, enhancing community engagement, and boosting employee morale. So all things that it sounds like we've been talking about over the last few months, even the last year, that have been key issues, not just within the police force, but in the community as well.
Yeah, and she'll start on December 1st. And something we've noticed really since the retirement news of outgoing Chief Jennings is that he really hasn't been publicly available. He did speak in the last week or so in response to, I believe it was that crime spree,
Yeah.
right, where an innocent person was murdered, right? That's the first time really we've seen him publicly where he's been kind of talking. And so it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure both he and Stella Patterson will be talking soon in the coming weeks. And they've kind of indicated that as well. The city manager indicated that. And actually, I was going to look up right now because the chief earlier did make some comments about this as far as
Yeah.
his respect for her. I don't know if we have that we can pull it
don't
up, but
know.
I'm going to pull it up right now too, because to me, it's telling when someone who was a supervisor can talk about someone who worked beneath them and who's now going to follow in his footsteps. So here's what he said. It was an honor and sincere pleasure to serve as the chief of police. I'd like to congratulate Estella Patterson and proudly welcome her back to CMPD as the next chief of police. She accomplished great things during her previous tenure here, and I'm thrilled that she is returning to lead the department. As an internal candidate with external experience, Chief Patterson brings familiarity with the agency and already established strong relationships in the community. I look forward to supporting her and seeing all that she will accomplish for the department and for the city of Charlotte. And I think that's important too, the
Yeah.
existing relationships.
And
right?
that will ease that transition as well. They know each other. He's clearly very supportive, saying he looks forward to working with her and seeing her grow in this role. I know that will be very helpful. And talking about the tenure that she had here, it was not short by any means, 1996 to 2021. So she's seen the city grow. When we talk about crime in the city, a lot of it people point to the way people have come into the city, how much Charlotte has grown without really infrastructure changing around it to help that. And so she has that unique experience too of just the history with the city, seeing it not just in recent years as it's grown, but what it was like many years ago before that spike in crime. So
And
really
let's not
interesting.
forget too that things really changed when those officers were gunned down.
Yeah, of course.
So this is a different department than she was at before, right? There's a lot of different concerns, a lot of different trauma that officers have been to. They lost one of their own within the department. And so that's also really important as they move forward, kind of respecting what officers think they need and know they need, but at the same time leading the department for what the city expects as well. And as, of course, crime in the city has become a national story now.
Yeah.
And she is now coming in at a right time to hopefully start maybe pushing some new initiatives to try and address that. And it sounds like Chief Jennings has been doing that in recent months as well. Although we haven't seen him as much publicly, there has been talk about changes CMPD has been making to try to address areas of violent crime.
I think too, just having the backing of the FOP is such a difficult endorsement to get. It's a very important endorsement to get, and so I think that will ease that transition as well. I know you and I will both be covering this in our newscast later. Is there anything else people need to know?
No, I mean, I'm of course curious of what her moving expenses will be, as I reported extensively.
To that point, I actually have
know?
a question. So, I think next week we're expecting to hear from Stella.
I think it's going to happen next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
What are y'all's, because y'all reporters, y'all usually in there with press conferences, what are y'all's first questions would be for the new
Yeah,
chief?
I mean, so I try to take a step back because, like, the investigative reporter doesn't just start going in,
Right.
and, pounding them with questions,
blazing,
right?
sure.
But of course, as I mentioned, this is a different department. It's a fractured department.
Has some baggage.
Right. What are we going to do to address the past and to move forward together? That to me is really critical, because at the end of the day, we are the folks that matter, that they're protecting, and also the officers matter in their safety, right? We need to keep them safe, but we need to keep the community safe. It's such a complicated balance, and not one is more important than the other here. So I think that's really critical, because it's a front-facing job, but it's also an internal-facing job, and the needs are similar in both safety, but they're also very different. So that's the first question I might ask. What about you, Julie?
I've never gotten a chance to speak with her, obviously, but you mentioned that she's just generally someone who seems to be accessible, and that's a really positive thing for this person in this role to have. I'm curious what transparency looks like for her in this department. Obviously, deputy chief is a different job. Raleigh is a very different city, although it's very valuable experience on both ends. I'm curious, with her in this role, with her experience, with her history of being accessible, what transparency will look like for her in the department.
Right, and I was happy to see that she wasn't afraid to answer tough questions. But honestly, Chief Jennings, I interviewed him in his first few weeks of the job, and he didn't back down from tough questions either. So it's a complicated city that we live in. It's a complicated city politically. And so it'll be interesting to find the footing, but also address all of the concerns. Because what you don't want to do, while the FOP isn't a union, for example, they have a huge membership of police officers. And you want to be a confident leader, but you also want to listen, right? And the prior chief, Chief Kerr Putney, who was here when I first got here, was, almost defiant. He was so confident, and he was set in his ways. And some officers really did appreciate that. He wasn't willing to back down. And I think that Chief Jennings really has, for the most part, been that way too, except when it comes to internally. I think there's been a bit of a disconnect there.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see, Stella Patterson has the benefit now of hindsight and seeing what has worked, what hasn't worked. And, I like to believe that every person in a public official role is acting in good faith. They are trying to do the best possible job, right? And so I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Of course.
All of them.
Yeah.
And moving forward, it is not an easy job, and we are demanding public, but we should be. This is our safety, and this is our police officer safety.
It comes with being in a public office. And you mentioned it's not just this, it's all public offices. She's also coming into a different city government, potentially. Not only do we have an election, but they also have the benefit of hindsight in the way this was handled. So curious to see if those changes at the city level will hopefully ease her transition even more.
Yeah, and as I said, a good first step that the city manager emailed the police department first. The city then announced it publicly. The current chief said some comments as well. Hopefully everyone's going to be available to talk next week. Again, it's so complicated. It goes from like traffic safety to event safety to violent crime to sex crimes. There's so many areas. School safety, that they have to focus on. And so I don't think anyone is saying, oh, she's not going to be capable of this job. I think they're very excited because they know she's more than capable. That's essentially what the current chief said, and that's what the city manager said.
It'll be cool to get the chance to hopefully talk to her next week and talk to some other leaders and see how they're feeling. But good news, it sounds like, for the city.
it's a good first step. I know people have been waiting on it, and now we can start looking forward, and it's a little bit less uncertainty, right?
All
That's
right,
good.
Nate Morabito, we'll see you again at probably all the newscasts.
I'll be on
both of
5 and
us.
6 for sure.
5 and 6. All right, Nate, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with some more headlines in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Live Impact News, approaching 12:45 here, and lots going on today. We just heard from Nate Morabito about Estella. She is going to be our new police chief at CMPD. This is really, really big news, Estella Patterson. And so we'll be following that through the rest of the afternoon here in the Live Impact studio, as well as on our newscast. Both me and Nate will be breaking that down later. We do want to get to our other biggest story, really, of the foreseeable future, which is the government shutdown, the impact on federal workers, and soon impact on SNAP benefits starting tomorrow. So those are all things we're going to hit throughout the afternoon here. We're going to start with an interview our Jane Monreal did with Mark Henry. He is a financial expert talking about what that means for those federal workers who have not been getting their paychecks. Starting, I believe, last week, if not earlier this week, this was the kind of turning point for when they no longer get them.
Yes.
And so this is the turning point of how do we stretch those dollars? Because there's no foreseeable, it seems, Carlene, end to this government shutdown in sight.
Right. I think this week marks the workers who get like a paycheck, like a paper paycheck, like an actual check. They won't.
Okay.
They'll miss that first full paycheck, and then the direct deposit workers last week marked like, hey, you're not getting it.
So it's both. All right.
It's everybody.
It's everybody's impacted, and really, I mean, Senate is out of session today, so no end in sight, at least for the weekend. So let's get to that interview. Some important information from Mark Henry.
Today marking now the 24th day of the federal government shutdown, leaving hundreds of thousands of federal workers without paychecks. They're scrambling, trying to make ends meet. For many families, that financial strain is real. Those mounting bills are coming due, and savings are dwindling. So joining us here live in the Live Impact studio in WCNC Plus, Mark Henry with Alloy Wealth Management to discuss what affected workers can do right now. Mark, thank you again for coming in on short notice here, but this is a huge story, right?
Yep, it really is.
Give us the latest on where things stand now with the shutdown and what federal workers are facing.
Well, unfortunately, the shutdown's definitely going to extend to next week. It's going to go at least that long. The Senate's already left town. They're home.
Right.
So that's not happening. You know, it was close yesterday. It looked like they had an attempt to try to get federal workers paid, and Democrats blocked it. 3 crossed the aisle to help join the proposal to start getting paychecks flowing to federal workers that do come in. But 3 wasn't enough.
They needed 6, yes.
Right, they needed 6. But it got closer.
Right,
so that is the good news. Let's go with good news.
Sure.
We we needed a few more, but it got close. So that would have ensured that federal workers continue to get the work through the shutdown, keep receiving a paycheck. So bottom line is we've got a problem, and there's a lot of these workers that are really hurting right now.
Yeah. When that first paycheck doesn't arrive, definitely
Yep.
scary. Now we're into 4 weeks of it not happening. And now people are worried about things like their credit scores, in
Sure.
addition
They
to
should.
actually paying their bills. They should worry.
Right, they should. And so we have to take proactive, we have to, not reactive, proactive.
Proactive.
It's time, if your emergency fund, and that's what you have it for, if you have one, this is when you use it. Let's not get behind on the bills. Now, if you don't have one, and again, one said that they would have trouble, 37% said they would have trouble covering a $400 emergency. That's like, this is bad. So
Wow.
we have to really go, what are we going to do? Okay, so if that is you, all right, we're in a place we don't want to be. We're not getting a paycheck, no fault of yours, but it's time to do something about it. We got to pick up the phone. So there are programs available. Many of the lenders, if you call them right now, you're not late, maybe you're late, going to be late, the first is coming and you're going to be late. Let's tell them we can't pay. I'm a furloughed worker, here's where I work, here's my job, I cannot pay you because I have no paycheck. And I may not get the paycheck in time.
Okay.
And let's tell them up front.
Right.
And they're going to help you. These lenders do not want to ruin your credit. I believe that in my heart. And they want to help you through this. Now, I'm talking about home loans. I'm talking about car loans. They will do things like we'll skip a payment. We'll give you a payment holiday. I was literally in a credit union yesterday that had signs up that said, if you are a furloughed worker, talk to us today about skipping a payment holiday.
Oh, that's great.
Right?
Encouraging news. I didn't know that. So,
Right.
so those are a couple of things you can do right now while we
Right now.
wait.
That's
okay.
right.
And then let's talk about the emergency funds. So, ideally, we want 6 months in there.
Right, we really do. And this is an example why. But many people right now, and if you're listening and hearing this and you're like, well, I don't have that. Okay, maybe you're not a furloughed worker, but that doesn't mean you might get furloughed at your company
Right.
or cut loose. You have to have this emergency fund. It's why it's so important. But now many credit unions and some local banks are offering low or no, listen to me here, low or no interest bridge loans for furloughed workers. They're saying, look, come in, we'll give you a very low interest loan to help you get some
Bridge,
money
yeah,
in, to
okay.
bridge until you get your paycheck.
Gotcha.
What I'd be very wary of is payday lenders. These lenders that you go into and say, I didn't get my check, okay, we'll give you some cash, and when you get paid, you pay us. But unfortunately, the interest on those loans is going to be astronomical. They're hard money lenders, and they can just
Right.
give you the money right now, but they're going to charge you the most legally allowed.
Okay, which is
It's going to be out of sight. It's not going to be worth it.
not worth
You
it.
got to go to your credit unions and your banks.
Okay.
Now, where else can we go? Well, so we've wiped out our emergency fund, or we didn't have one. We've tried the furlough with the loans. That's not working. We've called the lenders. We're delaying what we can, but we still need money.
We still
Okay,
need money,
so
right?
last resorts, 401k potentially. We have to look at the tax impacts, but let me be very clear. I will pay taxes at some point in my future. I can get cash today. Sometimes that's going to be the only option. It's like you've reached this place in the road through no fault of your own. You got 3 decisions, they're all bad. Well, I'm going to go with the tax one, and I'll worry about taxes in the future. I would talk to a professional about it before I did it, but I would have to, if it's a matter of eating or not eating.
Sure.
A matter of keeping my credit score. Your credit score is that important to me.
Wow. Okay. And when paychecks do resume,
Yes.
what is the first financial move federal workers should do to avoid being in this position again?
Right. Well, obviously, we're going to use the paychecks that come in because you are going to get them, and I believe that in my heart it's going to happen soon. I really believe that. We've got to get the parties to agree at least on something, and let's get money coming in.
Right.
Okay, so we get the government open. Now what do? We pay the bills? Great. Now what? It's going to happen again at some point in your life. It will. It's the truth. So this is why we learn from what just happened to us, and we work on getting an emergency fund. And you might be thinking, well, Mark, you don't understand. I don't have enough money left at the end of the month. Well, that's a spending problem. I do understand because I've had them. And guess what? We got to cut the spending. Where's the money going? We've talked about it before, Jane, but where is it going? Let's get rid of all the things that are not necessary.
Like?
Well, all the stuff that automatically comes out of your account. The streaming services. We don't need them all. Pick one.
We don't, Carlene.
Pick one.
We don't need them
Pick
all.
one. Let's shop. Let's pick one. Gym memberships. Remember, there was a day in my life I had 3 and I didn't use any of them.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, come on. Let's get rid of everything that can come out. That's the easy win.
That's easy, okay.
Now let's go to the next ones. And for some people, it may be that, yes, we still have a budget problem or a spending problem where we can't get it any lower, and that means we're going to have to take on a second job. We got to do whatever it takes to get this emergency fund fully funded so we never have to go through this again.
Okay. And we're talking 6 months of
Yes.
emergency funds, of being able to pay your bills, including your rent, your
Everything.
mortgage, your car. Okay? For someone watching right now who's really stressed about money, besides the emergency fund, what do you want them to remember?
They can do this. They're not special, and I hate to say it that way, but they're not special. Millions of people have found themselves in this exact same position, and they got out. There's so many places with allowed budgeting, groups that are online, Facebook groups, and we talk about social media sometimes as being such a bad thing. There's ways it's a great thing. Get in one of these groups with other people trying to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish with.
Yeah.
Meet with them every Wednesday night on Facebook or on YouTube or some group setting, a Zoom, where you're helping encourage others and they're encouraging you to make the right decisions and get yourself out of debt. When you have this 6-month emergency fund, you won't believe how good it feels. When you finally see your debt going down, I literally talked to a young person the other day that is 30 years old, been out of school over 6 years and made the last payment on his student loan, and he said he just feels free for
Fantastic.
the first
Oh, that's
time
gotta be a great
in his
feeling.
life.
Oh, I dream of that day.
Right, he just
I
feels
dream-
free.
Carlene's trying to pay
He's
her.
free.
Yes, I'm still trying to pay down student. I dream of the day.
Oh, it is great. I remember. Yeah, I had to
And so
defer for a
he
couple of
has
years.
that feeling, and you can have that as well that's listening. But you didn't get into this overnight, and you're not going to get out overnight.
Right,
But
right.
get some people around you to encourage you to get this done.
All right. You can do it. You can do it, Carlene. You're able to pay off that loan.
I know.
One day.
It does
Chip
feel
away.
like a mountain.
It
You
does.
know, it does feel like a mountain of
Yeah.
just student loan debt.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does. All right. And, positive news to be taken from here. Again, we are getting closer to a vote, hopefully passing some kind of funding bill to get folks back on their feet again.
Yeah, it's just it's mind-boggling that our government can't just pay the workers.
Yeah. Right.
Forget the politics of it. We got to get people paid.
Yeah. Oh, I'm throwing an audible here, Mark. Inflation, this is just breaking. Did you see
Yeah.
this? That inflation hit 3%
Yes.
in September,
Okay.
reflecting stubborn price pressures.
Yeah.
What does that say to you? What should we know at home?
It's something we've already talked about, but remember, inflation, even at 3%, is way down from what it was. That's good news. 3% is higher than we want. That's bad news. But at the end of the day, you have to remember, prices are still extremely high. Just because inflation tumbled down a little bit or now went up a little bit, it doesn't change the prices. The prices now may go up a little bit, but they never went down. Just because inflation went down, the price didn't go down. So if you were struggling a year ago under the higher inflation than we have now, you're going to be struggling just as bad now or worse, because prices, when inflation goes down, prices don't go down. They just go up slower.
Okay.
That's the problem. Prices are just going up slower than they were. They were already extremely high. You can give a couple of crazy examples like fuel prices because we're producing more energy, or egg prices. Okay, other than those two, there's really not many others. Real estate market, I think we're in a balanced market right now. It's not a buyer's market. It's not really a seller's market. We didn't have a crash, but it's kind of just a lukewarm, there's not multiple offers on houses,
Right.
but they're selling.
Yep.
People are buying, and it's kind of a balanced market. But price-wise, prices are high.
They're still high.
And inflation is a stubborn thing, and it's very sticky, and it's going to be around for a while.
All right. More reason why you need to get that 6-month emergency fund going. Mark Henry from Alloy Wealth, appreciate you as always, as we will continue to visit what matters, and it's where's the money, Where's that money going? Where's it coming from?
That's right.
We need it to live, unfortunately. All right. Thanks a lot.
All right, definitely some important information there from a financial expert. And we are going to have an expert later on to talk about SNAP benefits and how that impending delay or cut in those benefits is going to impact people here in North Carolina. We do want to get to some breaking news real quick. We know that there are people that have been detained at the Chester Park School complex. So Carlene has a map that she made of where this is, and we do have a crew on the way to the scene right now. These are updates that are coming in live on Facebook from Chester County Sheriff's Office. That update about people being detained came in around 12:21. The latest update is that the sheriff's deputies have completed their search of the complex. No additional areas or people of concern within the school, so they still have it on hold. This is an active scene still. The complex as a whole is on hold. Information regarding dismissal of the students that are there will be communicated by school officials coming soon. So hopefully parents will get an update shortly, but it sounds like everyone is safe, although there are people that are being detained. And that has a lot in that complex. I know that there are district offices in there. I believe there's a middle school in there as well.
There's a middle school. It seems like there's a lot there. This is right off of Lancaster Highway, so it's a biggie in that area. It's a busy road, like all the time. So just be aware if you're driving around this area.
Yeah. Avoid it if you can.
Avoid it if you can, but
Yeah.
you'll probably see some cop cars.
Absolutely. They are asking people to avoid the area, but of course, things happen. Just do your best to avoid it, and hopefully we'll get some communication out to parents and families soon about what happened there. But because there's so much in that building, we don't know at this time who was detained, what part of the building they were detained from, but it sounds like everything is still on hold for now. So as I mentioned, we have a photographer on the way to that scene, hopefully to get some more information from officials, but they're being pretty good on Facebook about updating people about the status of the investigation, what's going on at the complex, and what deputies are doing. So hopefully more to come in the next couple hours here. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Live Impact News, just past the top of the hour here, 1:01 p.m. And as I mentioned, lots that we want to get to, especially related to the government shutdown. One of the biggest, most urgent pieces of this, as we are in, I believe, a month today, 31 days of the government shutdown, is SNAP benefits expiring. We are running out of funds to complete those benefits. It's not just here, it's across the country that this is a problem, but North Carolina in particular is really a hot spot for seeing these impacts. If the government does not come to an agreement by tomorrow, November 1st is the first day we're really going to be seeing the impacts of this, and Senate is out of session today, so really no headway looking to be made anytime soon. So we have an expert here. This is Lindsay Haynes Maslow, a PhD from UNC Chapel Hill. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit first about your experience and what you're seeing when it comes to the impacts of this potentially expiring tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, currently, just for those who need to kind of have a understanding of how many people this might be impacting starting tomorrow, we have almost 1.4 million people in North Carolina that receive SNAP benefits, also known as food stamps, and over around 600,000 of them are actually children. So in North Carolina, what we are seeing is, and I don't imagine much progress is going to happen between now and tomorrow, our SNAP benefits will run out. Our state does not have a budget. There are some states in the country that are able to fund their program. Delaware's governor actually just declared a state of emergency, so their state could actually pay weekly SNAP allotments. But again, they're actually using funds from a different project to actually fund their SNAP program. So unfortunately, right now, North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, that's the organization or the agency that oversees SNAP. They are stating that if individuals still have funds on their EBT card, which is an electronic benefits transfer card, so SNAP recipients get a card and they can use that to purchase food. If they have any leftover funds, they can use it into November, but once those funds are gone, we will not have any SNAP funding until the government determines how they're going to reopen or refund this program.
I do want to get back in a second to how the state budget interacts with this, because that's what I've been covering for a while, the fact that we are months into this and we don't have one yet, and now legislators are gone. But I want to put into perspective too, of course that's great advice, good for people to know. If you have stuff left over, you can still use it, but honestly a lot of people probably don't at this point, already as is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of these benefits are not super extensive for people. And so I mean, you see on the first of the month usually people lining up already to go get what they want. Is that the experience that you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, I've already seen people actually trying to stock up on canned goods, anything they can. You're right. So the majority of individuals that receive SNAP benefits, they spend them by the end of the month. SNAP on average is really only covering $1.30 per meal per day. So we're not even talking about a lot of funds here. So a lot of people are already getting ready to deal with some of the impacts. If they've already exhausted their October SNAP benefits, they're turning to food pantries, to food banks, to other charitable organizations. So that's a concern, because those organizations, they're not supposed to be the largest federal food assistance program in the country. They're there to be a Band-Aid approach and a very quick emergency approach. So we're going to be seeing probably a lot more customers and individuals going to these places to get food for themselves.
And these food banks have been very clear, these food pantries, that they cannot meet that demand. I mean, how would you put into perspective what a strain that will put on the already kind of thinly put together food pantry system to have millions of people just in North Carolina that are now relying on them?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I was listening to one of the food banks out in Western North Carolina, and they said their entire food bank was damaged during Hurricane Helene. So they're still trying to build back some of their own infrastructure. The food banks, food pantries, again, charitable feeding organizations, they don't have the resources, they don't have the supplies, and also, even if we do send a lot of resources to them, they may not have a place to hold food, store food appropriately and safely. It's really, what I would say is truly a Band-Aid for an enormous problem. This is not the approach you ever want to take.
Now, I want to come back to what you mentioned earlier with North Carolina's particularly interesting position of not having a state budget. How does that interact with the fact that we have run out of funds? Other states kind of have some cushion to lean on, but we don't have that here right now.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, because we don't have a budget, we don't know, we can't pull funds from any place currently. And if we don't have our Senate or our House in session right now, if they're not actually debating or discussing bills, there is no opportunity to move funds around. So we really have put ourselves in, I'll just say it's a perfect storm of timing. And unfortunately, this is just the reality that people are going to be struggling. And I hope that individuals and our elected officials are paying attention to what's going on, that they're looking at different policy opportunities, even if it's a compromise of how do we make sure that we feed families in this state.
Absolutely, especially because so many of these people are families. You mentioned a good chunk of the people that are going to be impacted by this are children, people with disabilities. Some of the criticisms I've seen, not necessarily from lawmakers at the federal level, but just from, we see comments when we do stories like this of people saying, oh, go, get a job, things like that. But the reality in North Carolina is that the majority of these people on food stamps are probably not people that you'd expect or are able to have a job.
Yeah, actually, the majority of people on SNAP or food stamps are actually employed. They're normally working at least 1, 2, or 3 jobs. Over 60% of households in the country actually have working families on SNAP. So I think that's a really big myth that we need to talk about, is that these individuals are working. If they are able to work, they are working. Also, individuals that are being impacted as well are veterans. We also are having, I think we need to remember right now, check in on your friends, check in on your colleagues. We have teachers in this state that are now literally going to run out of their own SNAP benefits while they're trying to teach our children in North Carolina. So it's a massive issue that I hope that there are current, challenges. There was a federal judge last night actually said that they were going to consider whether or not, so actually the federal government does have reserves, so contingency funds for SNAP, which are several $billions. And a judge intervened last night and said she would consider options for requiring possibly the administration or the USDA to use those reserves to pay for SNAP. It's not enough to cover everybody, 42 million people across the country in 1 month, but at least it'll get you a little bit farther.
I'm glad you brought up veterans too. Interesting, perspective that we need to address. I think the last thing I saw was over 1 million veterans in the nation will be impacted by this. I know our Attorney General Jeff Jackson was one of the states who sued over those funds that are potentially available. So when do you think we'll see some sort of progress be made on or update on the status of those funds? Will that probably take a while?
Yeah, when I was reading the judge's kind of ruling, even the judge was trying to manage expectations and said, even if I'm able to say that you have to use these contingency funds, it's going to take a couple days. It may even take a couple weeks because, again, we have administrative channels that we have to follow. It's federal funds. They have to go to state funds. It's fairly complicated. It's not as easy as me just Venmoing you some transfer. But I do hope that this does make movement, and I appreciate our Attorney General joining others across several dozen states to actually join on this lawsuit.
And I know right now for people who are able, the big thing we're saying is donate to these food pantries if you can, call your lawmakers. And donations can be either monetary or I know a lot of these food pantries have Amazon wish lists, things like that. Is there anything else you want people to know about what's going on right now?
Yeah, I would say, truly going back to checking in on your friends, checking in on family members. You never know who is actually struggling in this moment. A lot of people they keep up a good face. We were trying to push through, but do check in on friends and colleagues and just ask them, how are you doing? Food is very personal. We're a state that has a lot of pride, and people don't always want to admit they're struggling. So I just really, really encourage people to make sure you're looking after others, and make sure you think about others before you think about a judgment.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for taking the time to do this, because the time is here. We've been talking about this for weeks now, but we are officially here as of tomorrow morning. So thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back in 2 minutes with some more local news. Welcome back to Live Impact News. Julie Kay here. Want to get to one of the biggest stories we've been covering this past week, which is, of course, Hurricane Melissa. This is happening right now at the Embassy of Jamaica in Washington, D.C. Officials there are giving an update on the devastation, which I know people are very curious about. So let's take a listen in there.
This happened on the 28th. And so time is not on our side as we do the relief effort and the rescue effort in Jamaica, because as days pass, people become more desperate. The needs grow and increase, and the concerns increase. What we do know is that we have also, apart from significant infrastructure damage, we have massive damage for homes and shelter, and also a lot of blockages of roads, of roadways, that of course impedes and inhibits the response to this disaster. So there are cut-off communities that we are making our way to. Reports are at the moment that we have actually 19 dead confirmed, and we're hearing about other probable deaths. And with this sort of disaster, as we go through it, and we start to clear rubble, as we access inaccessible places, as water starts to recede, that number is likely to go up. It's very important, therefore, that, as I emphasize, speed in the process of rescue and relief is significant. We fortunately have had some large NGOs come into Jamaica before it even struck, and subsequently the relief supplies have been flowing in, and I'll give you some information on that. Our international airports were reopened on Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. Yesterday we had 13 cargo relief flights, plus some commercial flights and private flights coming into Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston, which was less affected by the hurricane because it's in the east. Today we expect another 20 cargo flights, as well as by tomorrow morning at about 7 o'clock we should have Montego Bay Airport open so that persons who are stuck in Jamaica, tourists, etc., we can get them out. So we'll be getting them out starting tomorrow morning with commercial flights. So we'll be working 3 airports, 3 international airports, one in the center of the island, one in Montego Bay, one in Kingston, to get relief supplies in and as a response to what's going on. Of course, getting it in is the first step. Getting it to the people is the big part. A lot of the places that are cut off, we're going to have to use airlift to get them in. And I'll just say that at the moment, as we speak, we have helicopters arriving in Jamaica that were provided by the U.S. government, and I believe it is 4 that have landed so far, and then I believe we have another 4 coming in later on or into tomorrow. Also from the U.S. government, federal government, are, well, in conjunction with state teams, are 2 SAR teams, one that landed yesterday from Fairfax County, and then a SAR firefighter team out of LA coming in, I believe, later on today. The DART, the Disaster Assistance Response Team, arrived yesterday in Jamaica to start their work of assessment, to see what else is required, and to be able to reach back into the U.S. government to see how we continue that support. From the U.S. side, the mission side here, we have been reached out to by a number of members of Congress, members of state governments, all seeking to support us. And I really thank them, everyone who reached out and who want to provide this material support in our time of need. As the relief effort continues, it will be guided at 2 levels. At the highest level, at the political level, there is a relief and recovery committee of the cabinet that has been put together, led by 2 cabinet ministers, and they will be driving everything from that level. Below that, we have the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, which is the standing body that deals with these disasters. And then there's also a private sector coordination committee that has been established, led by one of our senators, to ensure that the activities of the private sector are so coordinated that we get the benefit of that as well. So there are layers. It's necessary for the coordination, but I just want to emphasize that some of the support we've gotten has been technical support as well. And this incident is too large, this disaster is too large and too severe not to reach out and take the best of what the world has to offer in terms of disaster logistics, disaster response, disaster relief, and ultimately disaster recovery. So we recognize that this is a difficult time for many places in the world. There are challenges here, and there are challenges across the world. And that makes it even more important. It makes it searching for the right word here. But it emphasizes how when you have this kind of disaster, that is where you see the true humanity coming out. And and that's important. I know Jamaica as a country, we have deployed all over in support of other people who have had similar issues, and I guess we're getting some of it back now, and that's really, really great. Our diaspora here, we have perhaps 1.5 million people, Jamaicans, integrated throughout the United States society. They rally quickly, and they have ongoing support mechanisms to Jamaica, and they have ramped that up. We have charities that are working here and in Jamaica normally, and those have ramped up their activities as well, and all of that bodes well for us. We are a strong people, and we're resilient people. And as we transition, as the rescue continues, as the relief efforts get into high gear, as the supplies flow in, and we get them to the people in need, we'll see that resilience come into play. It is really the time for our diaspora and our allies, our friends to band together. And there are many ways in which people can support what we're doing. And there are banners to the side of me here, left and right, which is the official government way of donating funds. I must say that unfortunately in these things you end up with people putting up all kinds of sites hoping to trick people into donating to something that is really not going to go to Jamaica. It's donations that will go to them. Unfortunately, this always happens, so I'd advise people to be careful how they donate. There are so many certified good mechanisms to donate. If it just popped up yesterday, it probably isn't real. So the support jamaica.gov.jm, because there might be other endings on this. You might see support Jamaica at something else, but the .gov.jm, that is the official government of Jamaica site. Now, there are a number of people who normally give to various 501c3s here in the United States and support Jamaica. Those ones are still up and running. Some of them have put up pages to support Jamaica. Some of them are doing matching. Usually those ones, if you know them and have used them and you have relationships with them, then that's fine. I know there are all sorts of groups and people gathering things to send them down, and we appreciate it all. We are doing our best to coordinate our activities across the U.S. with our consulates and our honorary consuls. There are a series of drop-off points here for people who want to donate actual goods, and there's a mechanism for actually volunteering where we can look at the people and their skill sets, the volunteers and their skill sets, so that we have the appropriate people flowing into Jamaica, supporting at the right time. I'll just say that from my own experience in many, many disasters, having deployed many times on this sort of things, quite often, enthusiastic volunteers are not necessarily the best volunteers. I mean, you need enthusiasm, but you need skills also. Otherwise, you can get a net burden on an already strained system. And that's why we ask that we know who's going in so that we can appoint people to what's best for their own skill sets. Now, I know a number of people are going in anyway. That's good. Thank you, and thank you for what you will bring to it. As I say, supportjamaica.gov.jm. You can, a series of drop-off points it's on our social media, on websites, and again, perhaps you should, or I should, end in the same way I started. Thank you all. Thank you all. Jamaica thanks you for your response.
Hi, Ava Thompson with News Nation. I just wanted to ask, you mentioned earlier there were reports of 19 confirmed deaths. What is the actual by Jamaican government's count of the confirmed deaths so far? And to follow up, what else does the United States need, or what else does Jamaica need from the United States, or has the United States offered any other support?
Okay, so to your first one, 19 is the official count. That doesn't mean that we're not aware or we hear that there are others, but you know, for an official count, you actually have to be precise in what we say. But we're aware that there are probably more than that. As the water subsides, as we get more access into places that are remote, we'll probably find that, and start to clear rubble, debris, and so on. Chances are we'll find some more. Your other question was?
What else has the United States offered?
Well, so one of the processes, so what has come in so far is the thing you do immediately, almost instantaneously. It was clear that based on the number of roads that are cut off, that we would need airlift, so hence helicopters. We need rescue teams, hence Fairfax County and LA. 2 teams, 30 plus people with canines. And we need the DART. So that's a disaster assistance response team. The response team now does their assessment in conjunction with the government of Jamaica and the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, and that triggers the flow of things into the country. The key on this is that the efforts are coordinated, that the people who are bringing in supplies connect to the people who can distribute it, with our military who is out there, with our Ministry of Labor and Social Security, with people like Global Empowerment Mission, World Food Program, World Central Kitchen is out there, and so on. And all of that flows together to give the outcomes we want.
You've been listening in to the officials from the Embassy of Jamaica in Washington, D.C. answer questions about the work to clean up after Hurricane Melissa and just the devastation it left in Jamaica. They're answering questions now, but we are going to take a quick break. This will likely be going on when we come back in about 2 minutes, but it is 1:30 and we'll see you in a minute. Welcome back to Live Impact News. We are still at that scene at the Embassy of Jamaica in Washington, D.C., where officials are answering questions about the cleanup after Hurricane Melissa. Right now, they're answering questions from reporters.
We will discuss about later on about how we can just get a platform to take requests. The thing is that it will be recognized that it's going to be limited, how quickly we can respond to that. So we would manage expectations in that regard. As first responders get out, as our military reaches in different areas, they cleared roads yesterday. Another 30 kilometers was cleared. They're going to ensure that there's a road coming from Savlamar to Black River, for those who know where that is. That's in the south and west of the country. Those roads are being opened up. Once we get that, then we have to go into the hinterland to find out where people are. So I know people are concerned about their loved ones, and many, many calls have come into the mission on that, but it's limited, our response now. I suspect as we get, not I suspect, but as we get the Starlinks out, as our police get more access, we'll be pushing the information back so that people are aware that their loved ones are okay. So I know people are concerned. I know there is that nervousness that over days becomes, more burdensome on you. But it does not mean that there's something wrong other than that they are cut off from communicating. 70% of the country is out of electricity, and that the build-back process of that will take some time. In the areas that the grid is actually intact, the public service company is busy restoring power where it is not restored. Obviously, where the eye passed, the infrastructure is broken. So that's part of that is going to be a rebuild. And to that extent, we are happy that some of our electrical partners across the world are reaching out to see how they can support our electric company, our electricity company. So that's going on as well at the same time.
Follow-up to that, talking about infrastructure, around healthcare infrastructure, I mean,
Good.
The diaspora also does have a very strong healthcare infrastructure in the United States, and they could be doing in this moment to assist rebuilding what you said is a destroyed healthcare infrastructure on the western part of the island.
Well, we have extensive damage to about 4 hospitals in the West, or the 4 hospitals in the West, or 4 or 5. So 4 of them are badly damaged, and we are looking at getting in field hospitals as early as this weekend. We're expecting 2 initially, and then other field hospitals. And so once those come in place, we'll be able to have a more robust medical outreach to support the western end of the island, and we also have medical personnel coming in. Of course, in the diaspora, we have significant numbers of medical people. They have reached out as well, and we're coordinating with the Ministry of Health exactly how they can support the efforts there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Just to follow up on that question, is there a timeline yet for rebuilding, and what is the rebuilding process in Jamaica going to look like?
Okay, so at the moment we're rescue and relief. At some point, and it will probably be in a few weeks, we'll start that rebuilding, and they will go concurrently. So how it works is initially rescue relief. Relief transitions into rebuilding. So you'll be doing relief still and rebuilding at the same time. Once you're into and over time, you'll be doing more rebuilding, less relief. You want to try and get the economy going again. So businesses will have to try and get those up and running again. So that that's part of the road to normalcy, part of the road to recovery. The rebuilding is going to take a while. By any stretch of the imagination, it's going to take a while. And that's why the government has put in place the mechanisms to ensure that's done in a very coherent and very coordinated way. Obviously, the more finances that come in is the quicker and better we can rebuild. There are financial arrangements already, but I believe the damage will exceed what those are. Unfortunately, I can't give you an estimate of the cost of damage yet. That's just happening now, that kind of assessment. We don't know, but we know it is very extensive. And this disaster is going to strain all of our mechanisms. But we're not in it alone. We have a lot of support, and that redounds to the benefit of Jamaica.
More questions? We have one question from New York Times joining us online. Beyond the emergency aid, what will Jamaica be asking for from the U.S. for long-term reconstruction?
Well, that will be decided. As I say, the first step is to get the team in to deal with the challenges that the people out there are facing right now, to get them back under shelter, to get food to people and so on. The recovery effort, I mean, the truth of the matter is that the United States has been a long time and great partner for Jamaica. As I say, we have our diasporas here. You live here, they have 1 foot here and 1 foot in Jamaica. That's our reality. And the United States is a country with huge capacity as well. And huge capacity for good. And so I suspect as the assessment is
All right,
done.
we're going to break into that coverage from Washington, D.C., where officials are giving an update about the path of Hurricane Melissa and the devastation there from the Jamaican embassy in our nation's capital, because we want to take you back to the scene in Chester County. So we now have a live shot from there. This is where people were detained outside of the Chester Park School Complex. Now, a reminder that this has middle school in it. It has offices in it for administration, so we don't know who was detained or from what part of the building, but we're now seeing kind of happen live from this camera. Students get, removed from the building for the first time, I believe.
Yeah, parents were told to pick up their kids. Dismissal is at 1:15, so it appears that obviously the lockdown has ended, or else they wouldn't let kids out of the building. So we're still trying to learn exactly what's happening. I'm told from our lovely assignment desk that deputies say the school will update us. So whenever that comes in, we'll update you.
Yep, and that was a couple hours that they were, on lockdown as police investigated. Per their update, sheriff's deputies ended that search of the complex around 12:45. So no additional people were detained after that. We don't have much more information, but we know that was pretty quick after that, search of the area was completed, that students got dismissed just about 30 minutes later. So parents that are picking up their child via the car line should go to the back of the building near the cafeteria entrance if anyone is still on their way. But most parents, or all parents, should have been notified by telephone call by the district office. So hopefully all that communication got out there in time. You can see police still there, sheriff's deputies still there, making sure everything runs smoothly, police blocking some of the area there. So if you don't have to pick up a child, avoid that area if you can. Hoping to get some more information soon, but good news that, students are okay and getting to their parents and families very soon. All right, so we're going to take another quick break, but know that we're going to follow that breaking news as we get some more updates, and we'll be back shortly. Welcome back. It is approaching 1:45 here in the Live Impact studio. It is, of course, Halloween weekend. Today is Halloween. We've got a whole weekend of Halloween celebrations. So, of course, lots of trick-or-treating going to be happening tonight, maybe even into tomorrow. So it's time for a check of your forecast.
Well, good Friday afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist Majestic Storm, and happy Halloween. It is gorgeous outside. No tricks, just a whole lot of treats today. We're looking at blue, sunny skies for just about everyone, with temperatures rising back into the low 60s this afternoon for our daytime highs. It's going to be great for all the trick-or-treaters tonight, and then tomorrow morning, if you have any plans for Saturday early in the day, we're talking about widespread 30s. It's going to be the coldest morning of the season so far, and we could see some patchy frost. This weekend, bottom line, really pleasant conditions. Yesterday, finally, we had the return of sunshine. 64 is where we'll topped off yesterday, and today we'll top off right around 63. So very, very similar, unless you're in the mountains. That's where it is going to be. Overall, a much cooler day with those temperatures only rising into the mid-40s. Let's take a look at that trick-or-treating forecast. There we go. It's going to be a really nice evening, right around dinner time or so. Temperatures about 60 degrees. Here's 6 o'clock. But once you gear up to head out to go collect candy, or maybe you're having a Halloween party, we're looking at clear skies and temperatures begin to drop down into the lower end of the 50s. So you definitely don't need an umbrella, but it would probably be a good idea to keep some layers handy, because there is a catch. It's not just some cool air, it's dry air, and we also have some breezy winds that you'll notice up there, especially in the mountains. Maybe a little bit of a breeze here in Charlotte at times. But notice as we head into Saturday, a lot of the winds will die down for the lower elevations. We'll continue to watch the mountains though, because this is what it's going to feel like. Here's 10 o'clock tonight. Maybe you're having a big bonfire outside. You will need some extra wood, because those temperatures, they do dip fast. 33 is what it's going to feel like up in Jefferson, 10 o'clock tonight. Fast forwarding you into tomorrow though, still really watching the mountains, because it's going to feel like we're into the mid to upper 20s. 26 for your feel like temperature in Boone. Meanwhile, right around our air temperature here in Charlotte. So make sure you're ready for it, whether you're doing something fun outside tonight, or maybe you got to wake up and you work outside in the elements tomorrow. You'll need those layers. And if you have any outdoor pets, make sure they're properly taken care of as well. No rain chances this weekend. Sunday night and into Monday, we could see a little bit of rain, but really it's not too worrisome. It's not too impressive either. 63 degrees today, getting warmer through Sunday. And then on Wednesday, how about some low 60s? The first week of November starts out very, very mild. Again, the big story tomorrow will be how chilly it is early in the day, but it's only going to be one morning where those temperatures really get cool, and then we'll start to see more seasonal conditions. 35 for your low tonight in Hickory, 33 in Boone, and the National Weather Service did issue frost advisories and freeze warnings, so we'll mostly be watching for around Morganton and Lenore to see some of that actually form. Again, if you have sensitive plants, it might not be a bad idea to make sure they're protected or at least covered up. 38 tomorrow morning in the Queen City, 43 though as we're heading through Sunday. And again, there's that trick-or-treating forecast. Not too bad whatsoever. Could be a good night for a big bowl of some hot chili to help keep you nice and warm. Here's our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, noticing plenty of sunshine. Our average high for this time of the year, it's 68 degrees. We'll top off only at 63, 38 for our low tonight, and then don't forget Saturday night and into Sunday. It's that time of the year we're turning back the clocks, but at least we'll ease you into things next week. We get to continue to hold on to sunny skies with warming temperatures into the upper 60s and low 70s. Hope you have a great weekend and happy Halloween.
Well, I have my costume on. It's a little bit.
I have my costume on.
It's a little bit less less dramatic than Carlene's. Hold on. Got to give you the full view there.
Happy Halloween!
Woo! Now, Carlene, I have to be honest. This belongs to you. The crown I'm wearing. So thank you for your donation.
I've outfitted at least 4 or 5 people in this newsroom today.
It is Carloween. You come prepared.
It's Halloween. I love Halloween. Do you love Halloween?
I love Halloween. I just have to read the serious stuff, unfortunately.
I totally understand.
But you are able to remove the Arby's fries, to be fair.
Well, here's the thing. I can't sit in it, so if I want to sit, it's got to come off.
That's fair. How did you make this? Because for weeks, it's a big reveal. Like, you take this seriously.
I do a reveal every year. I never tell anybody until day of. Well, obviously, like, Greg, my boyfriend, who I live with, so he knows. And then I tell my mother, who's watching now, "Hi, Mom, this is how it turned out. You like it? Are you so proud of me?" But
hey, she should be. That's an extensive costume.
Thank
It was a lot of
you.
hard work.
A lot of cardboard.
Yeah.
A lot of tape.
Good thing it didn't rain today.
A lot of hot glue. I've burned myself with a hot glue gun a few times. It does. It happens, but it comes with the territory. But I love it. I love being crafty, and I've done it since college, kind of doing these crafty costumes. There's just something so satisfying about seeing people's faces walk by as, Arby's curly fries.
Because it's unexpected, but the second you see it, you're like, you know what, you're right. I love Arby's curly fries.
Everybody wants to talk to me about Arby's fries now. Like, it's a conversation starter.
Like, I might go to Arby's this weekend because you've inspired me.
Also, I should mention, not sponsored. I'm not sponsored, not spawn.
However,
if Mr. or Mrs. Arby's, if you are watching and you are interested, give your girl a call.
I mean, what more could you want? I love, first of all, the detail, the fact that every fry is unique in its own way, accurate.
They're all unique.
I know.
That's I wanted to make that, and make it, out. I do for scale.
Success. How long did this take you, and how soon did you know what you wanted to be?
This one only took me a week.
Okay.
And I say that only a week because I did McDonald's fries back in the day, which I do have a picture of, which I'll put this up. I'll go through the whole costume.
The way that you're trying to produce at the same time
I
as
know.
showing us your costume. Multi-talented Carlene over here.
So there's my previous years. So I did the Taco Bell. There's the fries. Okay, wait for it. Bam.
Ooh.
You see how low they are?
Yeah.
Because I that thing was heavy as sin, and I was trying to pull it up with suspenders. No, I've learned better. So, but that took me a month.
That's fair, because it was quite extensive.
It was big. This one only took me a week.
Oh my God.
That was my Happy Meal last year.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
these are so good.
Thank you.
Okay, now clearly we have a food theme between Arby's, Taco Bell, McDonald's. Which is your favorite?
The McDonald's fries, even though they were heavy and they were a pain to get in my car.
Yeah.
Because I drive a very small car.
Yes.
I loved them. I worked so hard on it, and it looked great.
Looked great. And I liked
you had
the matching shoes.
My own horn. It was movie quality.
I loved it.
It was advertisement quality. Again, not sponsored, but
could be if they listen.
If you want my services, I'm here for it.
Now, you know who else goes hard for Halloween, everybody?
Our good friend,
Larry Sprinkle.
Larry brought the Bozo bus here.
And all of his friends.
And all of his friends came this morning, and it was a hoot and a half there on the morning show.
We not only do we have a compilation of it, but I am giggling to myself at the screen grab.
The preview?
The preview. I haven't seen this yet. I waited because I want to be surprised.
Oh, you're going in blind?
I'm going in blind.
Okay, so this is actually this year. Just for some behind-the-scenes tea, this was Lisa and Majestic's first year seeing the Bozo bus come to the station. Ben is a pro. Ben's been here forever. He knows all the friends, Helen and Tony Baloney and everybody. This was their first year, and I have to give them, I can't a round of applause, but I have to because it's hard to keep a straight face, and they did the best they could, but it was great.
It's part of the experience.
Just take it in, everybody.
All right, here we go.
I am Larry. That bus has got some crazy people on it. I'm telling you, you got weirdos, you got people I don't understand, and it took two of us to drive the bus.
The name is Melvin McBling and Quentin Telbus and Torquin Liga.
Well, we won't be able to repeat that one.
I can't either. Just call me Melvin.
Melvin,
I am the second bus driver.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It took two of us. It was a trip and a half. I'm from Dakota. North Dakota.
I think your stash is upside down.
Is it upside down? Well, I mean, yeah.
I don't know that for sure.
But it kind of looks like
I know it's real, but I think it's supposed to curve down and not. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
It grew that way.
Oh, really?
I'm from North Dakota.
That's the way it happened.
In South Dakota, it's the other way around.
And your last name is Malay, not Mullet.
Business in the front, party in the back. I'm Tornado. I go round and round and round and round. I have a whole bozo bus of little sprinklers now because I bit their neck.
Oh.
And not that I would want to bite your neck.
Of course not.
Or your neck.
Okay.
Got best pizza in the entire universe. I got the belt right here.
Oh, boy.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You are energetic.
The guy with the fangy teeth
Yeah.
like this, biting my neck.
So you have a thing about teeth.
Oh. Yeah, you gotta keep your teeth clean. Brush your teeth every day.
Baloney.
Pony.
Do you like a pony?
Stop! Oh, how'd you know?
I thought just. Yeah.
I got a TV by the name of Sony.
Yeah, give him a Tony. Like the award.
Do you like the actor George Clooney?
Somebody make it stop.
What? What is that? I'm Ricky Rocket, my band the Rickets. Ricky Rocket and the Rickets. Thank you very much. Thank you. What they told me in this little thing they stuck in my ear here.
Yeah.
Tell everybody that after 7 o'clock on the stream,
Yeah.
I'm going to 15 different accents here.
It's been Scottish. It's been Australian.
going on.
It's been British. It's been
over Great Britain.
All over.
Ricky Rocket and the Rickets, get the new album. My name is Frank Binland.
Frank
A lot of people
Binland.
Frank
say I look
Binland.
a lot like Ben Franklin, but I'm Frank Binland.
Oh, Frank
I
Binland.
get it. I get it.
Slightly
He means well. He means
Count
well.
Sprinkler, his teeth too are a little
Oh,
concerning.
Yeah, they come out occasionally.
Yeah, I think he almost like swallowed
I'm
his
Frank
teeth today.
Benfield. Get on! Stick around.
Frank Benfield.
Did I change my name?
Who in the world is Frank Benfield? I think you were Frank Binland.
Frank Binland.
Come on, what kind of operation are we running on this bozo bus? Frank Benfield.
It changes.
How did your name change halfway through the sketch?
What's going on?
It was on the prompter. I'll blame it on the prompter.
I tell you what.
Oh boy.
You guys are some sketchy folks.
my name.
You're some sketchy folks on the bozo bus.
Do they have to sign a waiver, a clearance or something? Any
All right,
background checks?
Please, we need some background checks.
We need
on
some
this.
background checks.
Binland.
Give it
I
up
mean,
for Larry. It's Larry's
only-
friends. They're his friends.
I'm going to clap for both of us because
Thank
Carlene
you.
is not able to. There we go.
I wanted to get on the Bozo bus now for a while, but there's no food allowed on the Bozo bus.
It is allowed in
Live
studio.
Impact News? Oh yeah. We have candy and everything, but
We've
yeah,
stocked up.
I missed the bus this morning for the Bozo bus.
It seems pretty set in stone. It's a really difficult guest list. You really gotta.
And Larry does all the screening for it. And these people were just walking around here this morning, like we gotta, you know.
It's serious business. We had a vampire on the loose. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's serious business here at WCNC.
It's a great visit every year.
We're safe here in the Live Impact studio.
We'll have so much more of it, like throughout the day, because that was only a snippet. I know that you're like, that was 3.5, but it goes on
so long.
So long. And again, I got a shout out to like Lisa. That's her first Bozo bust, and she did a great job.
Speaking of vampire on the loose, went straight for her. Went straight for her.
Of course.
Could smell the fear. Majestic 2, holding down the fort.
Yeah.
Maybe next year you can invite Carlene.
That's
I really
all
think.
I want. I just want to, even if I was just considered.
Just to be on the.
Just to be on the maybe list.
On like the understudy list.
I'll be an understudy. Oh, absolutely, I'll be an understudy. So Bozo Bus, if you're taking applications,
you know who to call.
Also Arby's, if you're taking.
And McDonald's.
You need a spokesperson. Wouldn't you want this?
Who wouldn't?
Wouldn't you want this for your advertising needs?
it's working for me. We're going to have a lot of people in the newsroom getting Arby's today, probably. So
Probably.
it's inspiration. Well, we're going to take off our very different costumes
Yeah,
and
it takes me a minute,
Yeah.
so I might need to do this off camera.
and get back to some serious news. So we'll enjoy the fun for this break.
Happy Halloween, everybody!
Happy Halloween. Serious stuff when we get back. All right, 2 minutes. We'll be back. All right, welcome back. We just did our fun little Halloween moment. So, of course, we are out of our costumes now. Carlene and I are back into our serious mode for the most part. But still, of course, Halloween weekend means we are getting ready to set our clocks back for daylight saving. I will be honest. Saving singular. Saving. This is not my area of expertise, I'll be honest. My mom calls me every year to remind me it's happening. I know, it's very sweet.
That's sweet.
Well, just the phones automatically do it now.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't own a clock.
You don't even need, I know, my Amazon Alexa does it too.
Yeah. But still some questions people have. So Megan Bragg, our Verified Queen, is here.
Hi.
Hi. What are some of the biggest things that you get asked? I know you do this story
Yeah.
pretty much every year.
Well, first of all, I do have to say, it is saving. I can
Period.
verify that. But you guys at home, listen, I say savings all the time. Yeah. And I just can't help
It's
myself.
just conversational.
That's how I grew up.
Yeah.
I grew up with savings.
Yes.
I don't know why. But
It's
anyways.
like anyway or anyways.
Exactly.
Right. Like, who am I to correct?
Who am I?
Right.
Anyways, yes. But any way you want to say it, I really don't care. Do what you want.
It's
but
happening
It's
regardless.
happening regardless.
Can't
I really
stop
don't
it.
care. But I will, for purposes of being right, I'll say saving. So basically, we had a couple of questions about this. One was about opting out of it.
Yeah.
I know that there are some people who don't want to do this at all. North Carolina, as you know, Julie, is one of them, trying to do this bill time and time again. It has not passed. They really have presented this a couple of times. Lots of states have done this too.
South Carolina too.
South Carolina too, yes. So you know, one of those things that it's always like, do we need this still? Like, isn't this for farmers? Like that whole thing. But so can any state opt out of daylight saving time? And that answer is yes. And that's because in 1966, Congress did pass the Uniform Act, and it gave states the option to just stay at standard time. And Arizona does that.
Yeah.
Yep. Hawaii does that. And then all the Commonwealths do that as well. Fun fact, my first station was in Saipan, which is a Commonwealth of the United States. Not a lot of people know that, but I remember not having to set my clock back at all, and I was like, wait, what are we doing here? Because they just don't do it.
They just don't do it.
They don't do it. Guam doesn't do it. Puerto Rico doesn't do it.
It makes sense for like places that rely on tourism a lot.
Yeah, sure,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like,
Yep. So, so the answer to that is yes. And then the next question, or we actually didn't get this question. We just had this thought in our head: is it better for you to do this or not? And we spoke with the Cleveland Clinic, and they were telling us that it's actually better for your health, just because of your natural circadian rhythm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So basically, what they're saying is because there's more light in the morning, your body is more amped to get awake. And then when it gets darker at night, your body obviously produces melatonin.
Sure.
And so that the darkness helps. And so they say that actually this does help your body kind of regulate and operate better. But you need to adjust to it. So it takes about 2 to 3 days to have your body adjust to this time change.
I think
so.
2 to 3 days. It takes me like 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, I know.
It takes me
Everyone's
a
gonna be in a
long
mood next
time.
We were talking about moods earlier. Like
I
everyone's in a
know.
mood. But it's funny too, because I feel like as I get older, I used to be like, oh my gosh, it's so late, I have to go to bed. And
Right.
now I'm like, is it too early to go
To
to
go to
bed?
bed?
You know what
I
I'm
know.
saying? I'm like, it's
time.
7 o'clock. Do I have to go? Should I
If
go
it's
to bed?
dark by 5 o'clock, you're like, you know
Oh,
what?
I
Let's wrap it
know.
up.
You
Let's
know-
call it.
So I was nightside for the first like 6 to 8 months
Yeah.
I was here, and before that I was on a morning show at my first market. So this is the first time I've been like a normal like 9 to 6 for
Exactly.
the most part, and it took me like 4 to 5 months to really
switch it back.
I felt like this week was the first week I've been like, it's 8:30.
Yeah.
Maybe I can just go to bed.
Maybe I can
now.
go to bed now. I know, exactly. Yeah. So they're saying that this actually does help with your health and stuff like that. I know that it's, definitely something that everybody talks about, and a lot of people say we don't need to do this. Some others say we need to do this. So that's what we're verifying today.
It's kind of like how people have those, I don't, but those, is it Hatch, where the alarm clock lights up gently.
Gently light, yeah.
Throughout the morning.
Yeah.
They're expensive, but
They
apparently they
are-
work
I
very
know.
well. 'Cause
Yes.
it like naturally wakes you up, especially if you live somewhere like, I mean, we've all lived, I think all of us here have lived in cold places before.
Yep.
Where, it's just dark
Yes.
more in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe one day.
I have to
Maybe
get
for
like,
Christmas.
no matter any time of year, I still need 4 or 5 alarms to get me out of bed.
Oh, girl, I know you. I know you.
One,
know
I
you.
can't stand me in the morning because I need at least, I don't get up till at least my 4th or
Like
5th.
snoozing all of them.
I do.
too.
I don't
know.
remember the first 2. They don't even count in my head.
Those are just the
Those are just
test runs.
The precursor.
Yes, the precursor.
You got to warm up the alarm clock first. before
It's a
you're
brag
ready.
thing.
It's a
It
brag
must be.
thing. We don't like to
See,
wake
we
up.
We like to be in our bed.
We like to be in our beds.
Yes.
You mentioned the state legislatures too.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't see that happening.
No,
in
I
North
don't
Carolina anytime
either.
soon.
I really don't.
And it's every year they do. it feels
Every
like.
year it feels like they present a bill, but it's just a lot of these. I mean, if you think about it, there's only Arizona and Hawaii. And that do this, right? So no other state is really.
Yeah.
We're all just keeping on,
Yeah.
but all of us still talk about it every year. Like, why do we do this?
Yeah, why do we do this?
First of all, North Carolina state legislature has bigger fish to fry at the moment. We have
Absolutely.
zero budget. However, I just think about even if we wanted to do that, Arizona is kind of its own vibe.
Sure.
Hawaii obviously is.
Yeah.
North Carolina is on the eastern seaboard.
Yep.
And so all those other states
Yes.
that
Absolutely.
we'd be on a different everything.
Right.
than them.
Can you imagine one,
And it
like the
wouldn't be-
Carolinas being different, especially
Yeah.
where we live, where there's so many people that live in one and work in another, or
Right.
vice versa. Like that,
Confusing.
That makes
Yeah.
things complicated. But,
Arizona has 3 states above it. Like
Yeah.
you know.
I do have to say the best time zone I was ever in was that Central Time Zone, though.
Really?
Oh,
Well, yes.
Loved that.
I liked it because I would, if I was doing the night shows, they'd be at 10.
10.
Yep.
I mean,
Come on.
come on.
You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you
I've
want.
never
yeah.
lived outside of the Eastern Standard
Oh,
Time.
Central
so-
is
I like Central.
nice.
Okay.
All the
Maybe I'll
shows you want
try
to
it.
watch come on earlier.
Exactly.
Dancing with the Stars is at 7
The
instead
Super
of
Bowls
8.
earlier.
Super Bowls,
yeah.
your games are earlier.
Kind of great.
Anyway.
I'll give it a try. You know,
Maybe we do want to.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, exactly.
I've changed my mind.
Maybe I changed my mind, yeah.
All right, Megan, when will you be on later?
I'm on at 6:15.
Fantastic.
Yes.
All right.
So I'm pretty sure. If I'm not, I'm sorry.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
You should just be having us on anyway. Don't turn us off.
Yeah,
keep
watch
us
the
on.
all the
thing.
time.
We got 2.5 hours of coverage starting at 4.
You'll
so-
see her
Right.
eventually.
You'll see her
I'll
eventually.
be in traffic at 4, so
That's
you'll see
right.
me at some point.
You'll see Megan all the time.
all
That's
the
kind
time.
of Megan's
kind
whole
of my
thing.
thing, you know? That's what I do here.
All Meg all the time.
All right, giving Megan's a couple hours of peace before traffic.
Yes,
We're going to
thank
take
you.
a break. Yes.
Appreciate you guys.
But thank you for joining us.
Yes.
All right, we'll be back in about 2 minutes. Welcome back to Live Impact News. We want to come on the air with a bit of breaking news. We've been covering SNAP all day, and this just in, 2 federal judges ruled pretty much at the same time in the last hour or so that they do have to use contingency funds to fund the SNAP program. So we don't know yet exactly what that looks like here in North Carolina, across the country, but we know that most likely it sounds like, or I believe confirmed, SNAP will be continuing to some degree. Not sure how quickly they'll be able to get those contingency funds out, so we will keep you updated as we learn more information. I know our Walker Lawson is looking into that for our 4, 5, and 6 newscasts. So more to come, but some good news for the millions of people in North Carolina that do rely on SNAP to get fed every single month. Lots of families, lots of veterans, lots of kids. So definitely an important update. Other things we've been following this week, Hurricane Melissa, of course, has been a huge, huge talker. for the last couple of days, I actually think for the last week or so, and we did an interview with a woman in Charlotte who is actually stuck in Jamaica right now. Our Nick Sturdivant did this interview. So let's take a listen to this because I know we're getting some updates on the status of that devastation today as well.
To a story that we've been covering all this week, and we've been tracking the storm as it made landfall. I think I keep saying this, and Carlene, correct me if I'm wrong, we were on air as Melissa hit Jamaica.
That's true.
So Hurricane Melissa, one of the strongest storms ever to form in the Caribbean, is set to hit Bermuda soon, but it caused a lot of devastation in Jamaica and in Cuba. It is now a Category 2 storm, but when it hit Jamaica, it was a Category 5. And right now, and we've been checking in with folks here in Charlotte with family over in Jamaica, or folks who are over in Jamaica right now. We actually have a young woman on right now with us live here on Live Impact News, Daquin Curry, who is in Jamaica. I just want to ask, how are you doing, and where are you right now?
That's a loaded question. I'm well. Everyone is overall well. There has not been any major casualties where we are located. We're currently located at Iberostar. It's Rose Hall Suites. Behind me is the beach, and what's left of some of the palm trees. A lot has happened. Reference to the damage that the storm caused. We know it's a Category 5 with us, and it was an experience. It was an experience, but we're all well by the grace of God.
You talk about just a terrifying experience as the storm hit. I guess what is the recovery efforts, the cleanup efforts like right now?
Well, right now, in reference to where I'm located, they have staff that have been working nonstop. The most excellent people live in Jamaica, and we're so appreciative of what they're doing. They have left their homes. Most are not able to get in touch with their own families because of a lack of signal. So we've just been aside, hurry up and get back home. We've been trying to encourage them and love on them because they don't know, how their family members are doing. And along with them working, some of us have gone around and helped with cleanup around the resort. Behind me right here, where some of the roof is gone, over here as well. Our room has leakage inside. So there's efforts by not. We see that they have dispatched plenty of companies to try to clear the roads. I've heard that the roads to Montego Bay Airport are pretty clear, but they're packed with cars because everyone's trying to get where they need to go. Also, the airport itself is still closed, so we're waiting to hear back as to when we can actually leave.
I was about to say, I'm just about to ask you that. When do you think that you might make it back home to Charlotte at all?
Hopefully this weekend. Yeah, hopefully this weekend. I know, and I've heard that Kingston, which is 3 hours away, their airport is doing limited, commercial flights. I've called. Oh my God, my flights have been canceled. My husband and our flights have been canceled 10 times. Even before the storm came, because they shut the airport down. We were supposed to leave last Sunday. We got here last week, Wednesday, for my cousin's wedding. I told him, look, we do it again, I think. But we were supposed to depart Sunday at 3. They shut the airport down at 12. We could not leave. The storm didn't hit until Tuesday, I think it was. Tuesday. There were some little residual rains and things prior to, but we could have left out of here. They just, for precautionary reasons, and I totally get it because of the winds and all that, they had to shut it down. So it's been a constant row of cancellations, but we know we'll leave, and we'll leave at the right time.
Look, I'm glad you guys are safe, and you've been so gracious with your time. I have one final question. How are you guys doing mentally? Because, you know, it just can be a lot to wrap your mind around, a lot to wrap your arms around as far as the situation, but how are y'all doing mentally?
Yeah, the mental experience is real. We're originally from Charleston, South Carolina, so we've been through hurricanes, but we've never been through a hurricane in a whole different country. And that's rough. It's been a little rough. It's been great where we are because it could so much be more worse than what it actually is. But when it comes to your thoughts and the past experience of hearing what the wind sounded like even during a Category 4, when this Category 5 came and that 185 was whipping through this steel and stone building, and you're seeing the ceiling cave in different spaces and hearing people screaming, it's a different experience. So my husband and I believe in the power of prayer, and that's what we did. We prayed and we trusted the Lord throughout the process. We're still trusting the Lord, and we've really taken the focus off of us and really put it on the focus of the people that are here, that live here, that breathe here, that work here. And we know tourism is like their livelihood, so it's gonna be a rough road for them, but they're resilient. They're resilient, and so are we. So thank you for asking about the mine, because it was a true experience. It really was I want to write a book. Look for it.
Of course, you know, I always want to ask that because, you know, that's sometimes, you know, folks, we don't think about how folks are doing mentally when it comes to, you know, big events like this, but that's a great perspective. Look, you guys continue to be safe. Safe travels back, and we're gonna have to check in on you when you make it back. So don't be a stranger here on the program.
I will not. Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you for your prayers. And if anybody in America has a Learjet, can send it this way. I know about 12 good passengers.
Let me make some phone calls. Dakwood, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, definitely something that we will be keeping an eye on, as many people in Jamaica stranded there after the storm. And of course, we want updates on the people that are from there, as well as people that are from Charlotte that are stuck there. So something to keep an eye on. Good news, though, that she is safe. So good interview with Nick Sturdivant there. We're going to take a quick break and then get to our special with the Panthers. Nick Sturdivant will be back again to break down their game against Green Bay coming up in just a few seconds. Welcome back to Live Impact News here. As I mentioned, we have, of course, Panthers to pay attention to this weekend as well. That is not my area of expertise, so we're going to send it over to Nick and Eugene, who, as always, have broken down what you need to know against for their game against Green Bay. They're going to be there in Green Bay this week, so not a home game, but especially after last week, I think we could use a break here in Charlotte. Carlene, I know you're a Bills fan. So
I am a Bills fan, so it was great for me, but now the Panthers have to go up to the cold Green Bay.
Cold Green Bay. Although it's been pretty chilly here, so
yeah,
good weather nowhere to be found.
But tough place to play, from what I've heard.
Tough place to play. So let's take a listen to Nick and Eugene, who are going to break this down much better than I could.
Welcome in, Panthers on the Plus, a.k.a. the Bald Brothers Panthers preview. Yes, that is a mouthful, but we've been doing this going on 9 weeks.
9 weeks.
9 weeks, man.
What?
Man, it goes by fast.
It does.
I wish that game last Sunday went by fast. It went by slow, man.
I'm telling you what, the Buffalo Bills, if you don't know that they are an elite team, then you sleeping. You sleeping because those dudes know how to play.
Was it the Bills played elite, or and we talked about it before, or was it just we played that bad?
No, the Bills played elite football. There's no doubt about that. That is one of the better teams in the league. So when we're looking at the schedule, because when you looked at the schedule when you first got the schedule, like just going, oh man, we got these. Oh, we got the Jaguars. Oh, we got the Jaguars. We got these guys. Oh, we should be able to win these games.
Winnable
The Patriots.
games. Yeah.
Okay, these are winnable games, right? Then you looked at, hold up, you got what we said, Dallas. You got Dallas, and you said you have Buffalo, and then you got the Packers coming up.
Yeah,
man, that might be a stretch.
It's a tough stretch.
It's a tough stretch, and not to mention that the Bills are that good. That's that team. That when I watched them and I watched how methodical they was and how well they ran the ball, we stopped the run.
Yeah.
We've been stopping the run all year long. And they did a thing that was so cool. They took Derek Brown out because they tossed the ball away from him. They ran zone stretch away from him, or they ran a counter towards him.
Yeah.
So you got to move him laterally. You just keep pushing him laterally. Let the running back go ahead and make his cut, or keep going out to the side to the freedom. But if you go ahead and do a counter or a power, you're gonna get a guy who's gonna get an angle on Derek Brown, and the back's gonna find that gap.
Greg Olsen pointed that out. Yeah.
So that's exactly when you look at it. They ran zone stretch. They ran tosses. I said, what a great thing to do against a team, because what you eliminated the penetration, and you got them moving laterally.
Yeah.
And once you eliminate the penetration, now the running back has more options to go ahead and make a move. If you got penetration, then the running back has to get out of the way because there's a guy in his way. He has to make an adjustment. He didn't have to make an adjustment. He was able to cook.
He looked like Emmitt Smith out there.
Dude, he was
like
able to
Emmitt.
cook. Dude, he was that good. Look, I got to give him his props, man.
Yeah.
He had 216 yards, and if you don't tackle in the secondary, or you miss that gap, or you see that gap open up, and you go, oh, I got to get down there, and you don't make it, dude. That's why we always say this: if you're a safety, you're the last person in the image, and typically, if you miss a tackle, it's a touchdown because there ain't nobody else behind you. All right?
You know this.
That's right. There ain't nobody else behind you. So look, you got to be one of the surest tacklers.
Yeah.
I got 1,441 tackles in my career. And I have a lot of open field tackles. And I've missed some tackles on some really good backs. There's no doubt about that. But I made a lot of tackles. You have to be a sure tackler at the position of safety. If you're not, you are a liability.
So, okay, I want to get back to the quarterback situation. We're still trying to sort that out. You talk about the running game. Let's talk about our running game. This whole alternating drives thing is not working. We've seen it for 2 weeks. It's frustrating. Dave Canales is alluded to looking into the possibility of Rico being the number one. I know we paid Chuba, but man, come on, dude. It's obvious. Going forward, we need to go with Rico.
Well, I think that, I think maybe the noise that's coming from this, seeing this competition and seeing how it can go ahead and work. And when you lose, it only highlights even more, even exacerbates the situation.
But it didn't look good against the Jets.
Exactly. And here's the thing. I think somebody mentioned to me that he had less. Rico had less. Almost half the amount of carries that Chuba had, but had more yards in that game. And I think that is correct. It has more than twice as many more yards. And so I think you do. I think you go with the hot hand. And here it is. You're not going to hurt my feelings or anybody else because this is not like in little league or pony league football or nothing. It's not like everybody gets a chance. Dude, this is your job. It's always about winning, and that's what Coach Canales said. He said he's going to make his decision based on the team and based on winning, and not based on whether because he loves Chuba and he likes Rico Dowdle. But not based on who he likes.
He should. I'm going to be critical. He should have made that decision a long time ago. He should have. But we're here now. And we face a guy like Micah Parsons. So what? Having a guy like Rico Dowdle say he's the starter and he is the high hand. What does that do to offset a guy like a Micah Parsons?
Dude, don't forget we got a number of guys that got hurt on that offensive line.
Oh, that offensive line is banged up too.
It's banged up, and so I think we get Chandler Savalas back this week. Maybe Moton. I'm gonna tell you, man. Besides Myles Garrett, he's the best player in the league at defensive end.
Hands down. Hands down. Oh, so dude,
I'm just telling you. If you don't double team this guy and you just let him have his way with the tackle, your quarterback, Bryce, you better get ready to run because that dude, he's that dude. He's that Reggie White. He's that Aaron Donald. He's that Warren Sapp. He's that Simeon Rice. He's that dude off the edge, man. When he comes off the edge, he ain't no joke. That dude will come up and bust you. He'll bust you right up in the mouth, dude.
You mentioned Bryce Young, all right? Bryce Young was out with a high ankle sprain last week. He potentially comes back this week. We'll start with Bryce. That's a scary proposition, man. Bryce with a bum ankle, and you got a guy like Micah Parsons in that defense?
Well, it depends on how severe the high ankle sprain.
He looks good out there, granted, but that's not game. As you know, that's not game action.
It is. Let me tell you from experience from the high ankle sprain, because I know what it is. It's painful, but you can play. Okay. You got to kind of block out the pain. You got to mentally kind of block it out. But when you have, like he had last week, and he was getting healthy, and you have a full 2 weeks, you're going to feel a lot better than what you felt when it first happened. And so hopefully you don't aggravate it even anymore. And that may be the problem because you got Micah Parsons and they were dialing up things for Micah Parsons with different games they may want to use. So, but I think that he's in a better position. If he were to play last week, I would say don't play him because, dude, you ain't ready to go out there. And now this week, I would go, let me see, tell me how you feel. Because if you're feeling really good, I'm playing you.
Bryce is saying he looks good outside of the pocket, getting the ball outside of the pocket. He's made some good throws in the pocket, but his bread and butter is getting outside the pocket, making something happen. With that ankle, is it more of a quick release game because of that ankle, protecting that ankle?
So Coach Canales is probably going to go ahead and protect Bryce by doing what? Doing routes to get the ball out of his hands extremely fast. And if he does do anything that's movement-wise, he's going to do movement to the side that's favorable and not to the side that's unfavorable. So if you have, say, if you run into your left and you feel it a little bit more running to your left than you do running to your right, then I'm going to do dashes and bootlegs, and I'm going to do waggles all the way to my right to accommodate for that, so that it makes you a little bit more comfortable. All right, and if I'm going to do anything to the left, then it's going to be something like maybe a screen or draw or something that's a short pass to the left-hand side that when you line up, I'm talking about the movement series with bootlegs and dashes when you have to move out of the pocket. When you're in the pocket, he's going to get that from the gun. 1 3-step drop, that ball's coming out fast. I take that ball is going to come out real fast, and it has to because you got that dude. That dude's on that other side, man. Micah Parsons, he's that dude. I'm just telling you.
There goes that man.
There goes that man. That dude right there he's one of the best in the league. And when you say his name, Micah Parsons, you put some respect on that name because he's that dude.
I'm gonna say another name, and we didn't forget about you, Andy Dalton. I say his name. I know last week is last week, but Your quarterback can get hurt. We've seen it across the league. You need a capable backup. What are we doing with Andy Dalton, man?
Well, you didn't expect Andy Dalton to play this badly. No one expected
Nobody
Andy
did.
Dalton to have.
Is it time to hang it up?
Well, nobody expected that poor performance from Andy Dalton, and if I'm just being honest, even when at halftime, when he ends up taking the sack, and then we have to do the rush where we bring the special teams, which we're ready to go out there, and we end up rushing the thing, but we missed the field goal attempt. Andy Dalton, I would assume that while he's in the huddle, he would tell the guys as they're going out, look, if I don't see anybody, I'm throwing the ball in the back of the end zone, because he knows he can't take a sack.
Yeah.
And the fact that he took a sack, that only goes like this. Hold up, man. I know he couldn't throw the ball out to the sideline. You know why? Because it'll be intentional ground.
Yeah.
So, but not get rid of that ball down the middle of the field through the back of the end zone, I thought that was a missed opportunity, and I don't expect that. I'm being honest because I like Andy Dalton. I don't expect that from Big Red. I don't expect that he would make a play like that or not get the ball out quickly because he knows that time is the essence, and he has to save time. And the other thing, let's go on and talk about it too while we're talking about it.
Let's go ahead and talk about it.
The screen. The screen where, what was it, Shaq?
No, Shaq called it out, but I forget the linebacker. It was the outside linebacker.
It was outside backer, but typically on that screen, you're going to be able to see if there's a guy that's in there, a linebacker or a defensive lineman that's there near your running back. Well, typically what you do is you throw the ball right in the dirt. You throw it right in the ground. And I can't believe that Andy did not see. I can't believe that he did not see because when he threw the ball, it was right to the other defender.
It was right there.
It was right there. And so, so he had a bad day.
Yeah.
So, I can't sugarcoat it. Andy had a bad day.
Maybe time to consider a Hendon Hooker or
I don't think so. I don't think it's time to consider because who do you get? And you already know the system. Here's the problem if you make a change like that now is that you got to bring in somebody and they have to learn everything over. They got to learn all this too much, and so it's easier for them, Coach Canales, to stay with them the rest of the season and make a change at the end of the season than it is right now to make a abrupt change because he's the guy that you got that you groomed.
See, every time we have Eugene on, my blood pressure starts here and then it lowers. So thank you, Eugene, for lowering my blood pressure. I was getting a little irrational. We're going to continue the conversation. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about the defensive side of things when we come back here on Panthers on Plus, a.k.a. the Ball Brothers Panthers Preview, Week 9. We'll be right back. Welcome back here on Panthers on the Plus, a.k.a. the Ball Brothers Panthers Preview, Week 9. I got my Ball brother in, Eugene Robinson. Let's talk about the defense, the Panthers defense. Didn't look great. It didn't. James Cook, you mentioned it, 200 plus. He cooked. He was chefing it up. 200 plus yards. Looked like Emmitt Smith. And now we have a guy. We have Josh Jacobs from the Packers, and then Emmanuel Wilson, the young guy. They didn't have a stellar game, but they're kind of like a two-headed monster. They're pretty good. They're pretty solid on the ground.
And look, when you say Josh Jacobs' name, I'm telling you, Jacobs is a lot like Cook.
Yeah.
I mean, you give that dude and she's a lot like Rico Dowdle. He puts his foot on the ground, he's gone, dude.
Yeah.
And he's big enough to handle the load too. I'm telling you, it doesn't get any easier facing another talented running back as we have faced, and then this is a copycat league. So what are they going to do?
They're going to do the same thing.
They're going to do the exact same thing the Bills. So now, Coach Ajero, this is going to show the mettle and what Coach Ajero is made up too, as well as Coach Canales, because copycat league, toss the ball, stone stretch, counter, here comes the power, all that stuff away from your boy Derrick Brown. So you got to go come up with a defense now that's going to be able to, if you're going to toss the ball, I'm going to have one of my dogs on the outside going, all right, I dare you. Toss it this way. I'm forcing that ball back in. So that ball, whoever's blocking me, the ball is getting forced back in to my help. No doubt.
You know who's missed right now?
Who's that?
Pat Jones.
Oh, wow. See, because you got Scorton.
Yeah, young guy.
You got, DJ Wanham.
Yeah.
But
Jones, Robinson,
You got, and here it is. when you run, and I know this all too well, we faced the Denver Broncos in a Super Bowl, and how did they beat our defensive front, which was Reggie White, Gilbert Brown, Santana Johnson at the time, Gabe Wilkins. We had a crew, and Gabe got hurt. What they did was they made them run laterally, dude.
Yeah.
And not all Terrell Davis was doing of them 2,006 yards. He had that season. He was going, okay, I'm running, I'm going to stretch it out. Boom, I'm cutting back. If he cuts back, there's going to be a linebacker or safety. One of us have to be there. And for that, if the lineman doesn't get off the block and make something definitive happen, he has a two-way go, and it messes things up for the guy behind me or the linebacker, because now he has two options. And now I can't play the guessing game. I have to wait, and that gives them an advantage. So I'm telling you, Copycat League, get ready. That ball's going to get moved. You're going to see that zone stretch, and you have to get penetration. This is going to be on Coach Ajero right here to make sure he's able to get penetration. And I'm going to go 8-man front, and I'm going to say, look, Love beat me in the air because I'm going 8-man front, and I'm stopping this run.
Well, okay, so here's the thing about Love. When he is on, but he makes some mistakes. He's not afraid to chance it. And so I'm looking at a guy like Mike Jackson. I'm looking at especially Mike Jackson since JC doesn't travel, but JC. And also, I look at the secondary. Nick Scott, you got to be in position.
Oh, my goodness.
This dude always, and correct me if I'm wrong, he always is out of position. Come on, you can't have my name and then be out of position, Nick Scott.
No, first of all, he's not always out of position because I know he's not. But I know, I'm telling you, there was a play, man, in that game where Cook ran over Nick Scott.
Yeah, that
dude, it was. Look, I've been ran over too, so I'm not throwing stones at you. And I'm not trying to deride, but it only put an exclamation point on how well they were running the ball, that you got downfield.
Yeah.
And then you ran over the safety. Dude, that typically doesn't happen, dude.
But he's out
because you're running away and you're grabbing a guy, but he ran over the dude downfield, man. So I'm just saying.
Would you say the safety unit is probably our weakest point of the defense? Because I'm looking at a guy like Christian Watson, who had a really good game against the Steelers last week, and it's not. And when we're man coverage, solid with the corners, but when we go to zone, it seems like there's something missing.
You're only as good as your pass rush.
Okay, so it's a pass rush.
It's part of pass rush too, and so you're only as good as a pass rush because any quarterback back there, it doesn't matter. You give any quarterback time, somebody's coming open in the zone because the plays that when we run zone defense, cover 4, cover 2, cover 3, all right, when we're running those defenses and not man, they are doing zone beaters. Every route is like a zone beater. Okay, I want you to go ahead and sit down. And he said, if you see the linebacker, instead of taking that dig route across, sit down right there. I'm gonna get you the route. Oh, if you see the linebacker, if he sees you, boom, then stretch it out. Because I'm gonna throw the ball on the other side. There's zone beaters. If you run a curl, a 14-yard curl that comes back, he's gonna tell you, all right, the quarterback, I'm gonna throw the ball on the inside or outside, based on where the whoever the defender is at. I'm throwing it on the opposite side. So get ready to catch the ball on the opposite side. So, So when we talk about zones, you have to eliminate the time the quarterback has to throw the ball, because if he has time, it's like 7-on-7 in practice. Any quarterback's going to beat you because he got plenty of time. And the zones he's going to open up. It's zone for a reason.
And speaking of that, so we have not played well against tight ends. Like, tight ends have just been like our biggest Achilles heel on defense. I'm looking at a guy like Tucker Kraft with the Packers. He had 146 yards.
I know.
And if he's carving up a very expensive defense at the Steelers, haven't played well, but it's an experienced bunch against the Steelers, I'm kind of worried about.
It's only going to highlight what we do in our secondary, what we do in our nickel defense, and what we do on first and second down. First and second down, typically we're going to be in an 8-man front. And if you're in an 8-man front, you're going to be in some type of cover 3, cover 1, and you're going to have Morig most likely going to be on the tight end. Take the tight end. I'll take that matchup.
Okay.
All right? Because you're just trying to stop the run.
Right.
If they do play action pass off of it, you got to go man to man. JC, Jack, I'll take that. So I'll take that as long as you can keep the pressure. If you don't keep the pressure, we're going to be in trouble. And now, as you got 2 receivers, tight end, one of those backs. whoever our linebackers, I think it's going to come down to how well our linebackers play. Our linebackers, because you're going to have some tight end work, and you're going to have also some running back work, some Jacobs.
Look, I was critical of our linebacker group, Christian Roseboom, Trevin Wallace, the beginning of the season, but they have really started playing better. I got to give them the props.
They did play better, and they both had a number of tackles.
I think Christian Roseboom had like more than 10 tackles.
Yeah, he did. However, but with all that saying, the Buffalo Bills, first and second down, was getting like 7-8 yards a clip.
Yeah.
So what does that mean when you're making your tackle? You're not making your tackle at 2-3 yards. You're making your tackle at linebacker depth 5 yards and even beyond that.
Which is not.
That means you're getting pushed back.
Yeah, you're getting pushed back.
Or that means somebody else is getting pushed back into you. So you got to surf. You got to figure your way out and around. You got, you're taking away a gap and this and that, but the ball's over there. Now you got to redirect, and now you got to get back. So I don't want to say it's yes, because people will say, man, you got a lot of tackles at free safety. Well, I shouldn't be getting that many tackles at free safety.
They shouldn't be getting that far.
I know, they shouldn't get that
Unless
far.
I'm coming off a blitz all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. So I want to make sure that there's an asterisk with that when you talk about having so many tackles, this and that. You want to look at, particularly in this last game.
Yeah.
Man, it had 238 yards, dude.
I've been meaning to ask, and I wanted to wait for several weeks now. We're week 9, obviously. Who is the guy that, on the defense side of things, that you're looking at and you're watching these games and you're just like, in your mind, you're just screaming at this guy like, I want this guy to step up? Is there a guy on that defense? I feel like you got somebody in your body shaking his head.
So,
right now.
the Carolina Panthers defense has always had, since I remember, a top linebacker.
Yeah.
A guy that you said, if I say Thomas Davis, you go, oh yeah.
That's a problem.
If I say John Beeson, okay. If I say Dan Morgan, watch out now. Don't hurt nobody.
Yeah.
If I say Luke Kuechly, please.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
First ballot. There was always a focal point, a guy. Yeah. Shaq Thompson. There was a guy.
Yeah.
Our defense was so linebacker-centric that was the focal point, that in that defensive front, all right? Made everything else better. So if it's hard for you to go ahead and call the person's name, right? You go, okay, Wallace and Roseboom.
Yeah.
But you don't call their name with the same. Now, I think they did a great thing. And Coach Ajero, he switched the responsibilities from Roseboom and from Wallace.
Yeah.
Once he has the green dot, Wallace is now listening to the coach, calling plays, making those adjustments, taking that strain off of Roseboom so he can just go ahead and eat and be fast. One thing he knows about, he's fast. He gets that, and he's going to do some damage. However, with all that saying is, this team has always been prided on a focal point at linebacker, and I find it hard-pressed to find where's that guy.
Hey, man, linebackers step up. Defense step up. We're going to see what they're made of at Lambeau Field. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here. We got more takes. We'll be back here week 9. Panthers on the Plus, Ball Brothers Panthers preview. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back here on Panthers on the Plus, a.k.a. the Ball Brothers Panthers preview. I have my ball brother in here, Eugene Robinson. Let's get to it. Quick hitters, as we do each week. All right, X factor going into week 9 against the Packers, Eugene.
Dowdle. Got to have him.
Yeah, okay.
I got to have him. I got to have him get more carries.
Yeah, Canales.
I want him to eat.
Yeah, Canales.
Let him eat.
I'm calling out Canales.
I'm making that move. I'm going to give him much more time. I don't want him to touch the ball 7 times. I want him to touch the ball 25 times.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. I like that. All right. I didn't write this on the list, but I thought about this. Man, you played in the NFL for a long time. Favorite memory playing there at Lambeau Field?
Oh, wow. Lambeau Field.
I caught you off guard with that one.
Yeah, here we go. The Mud Bowl, we played in the Mud Bowl to get ready to go off to the Super Bowl in 1996 or 97. I can forget what Super Bowl it was, but we played in the mud. And in the mud, I had like 2 or 3 interceptions.
In the mud?
What? Holla at your boy.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I had 2 interceptions. My third one I ended up maybe dropping because of the mud, but I had like 2 picks in there.
And this is why he's one of the greatest players in Seahawks history. As a former player, sticking to this thing, another quick hitter. After a tough home loss, you're on the winning streak, you have a tough home loss, and you go on the road and you face a tough opponent. What has always been your message to the guys back when you had the jersey on?
So it's not what you did last week, it's what you're going to do this week.
Yeah.
And then you have that 24-hour rule, and then you have to – that team is prepared, you're prepared, all right? One of the differences, and I would say this as a captain, if your want to ain't higher than the other dudes want to, if you don't know where it's at, or you sick or you're hurt and you can't be out there, I don't need you.
Yep.
You would be doing. I don't need a body. I need somebody with that want to going, hey, we about to bust these cats up and punch them in the mouth. Lickety split. That's what we about to go ahead and do. That's what you're looking for. And so how do you change the narrative? Hey, yeah, all right. I'm not going to even watch the film of that game we got destroyed by them. I don't even need to see nothing in there. I already know what they did to us. Guess what? I got a chance against the Packers to go ahead and eat. I'm about to go ahead and eat. Now, that's what you want to be thinking about. And that's what needs to be your mindset. Because you're going up in Lambeau Field.
Yeah.
It ain't no joke, dude. Those fans are rabid, and they play. They play some really great ball down there, no doubt. Historically, they are really good and a great home team.
And they haven't been bad in 40 years. They haven't been bad in 40 years.
I'm just saying. So get ready for a fight.
Yeah.
Be prepared for a fight. So when you go up there, get your mind right and get ready for a fight.
You know what? That sounds like the same pep talk you should give to Carlene's USC Gamecocks after a tough loss against Alabama.
Oh my goodness, that's right. That's right. Yeah, my Gamecocks. Yeah.
I got heartbroken.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make it through.
Oh yeah, you will make it through. That's right.
Good, Carlene, we got your back.
Oh my goodness, that's right. Yeah.
We're rooting for South Carolina.
Who are? Everyone is.
Who they play this week?
Do you know who they play? Come on, Carlene, you should know this.
Last week.
Look, I was watching that game on Saturday.
It's Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
It's 7th ranked Ole Miss. You know it ain't gonna happen, guys.
I know Ole Miss. And Ole Miss has been playing really well. Ole Miss did lose to Georgia maybe about 2 weeks ago, though. I think they lost to Georgia.
Trinidad Shamblers is about to have a Heisman type game against the Gamecocks. Get well soon, Gamecocks. And with that being said, thank you for watching Panthers on the Plus. We do this every week, every Thursday night, only on WCNC Plus. 9 o'clock. I got my ball brother in here, Eugene Robinson, Carlene Bragg.
You know that's right.
Oh, man. And we're so thankful. We've been doing it for 9 weeks, and we're going to keep the ball rolling. Man, I'm going to hand that ball off to you, and then we're going to keep the ball rolling. We'll see you next week.
All right, you got Ball Brothers every Thursday at 9 p.m. And, of course, we usually play it the next day on Friday here in the WCNC Plus Live Impact News so that you can get a preview of your week ahead. Of course, that's going to be a really interesting matchup, especially with so much going on. And they're going to be out of town this time in Green Bay. We've got some more news to get to, though, of course, across the region here in North Carolina and South Carolina, but, of course, across the country as well. So stick with us. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. Welcome back to Live Impact News here. Of course, it is Halloween. It is Halloween weekend. Lots of trick-or-treating going on tonight and lots of outdoor events in Charlotte this weekend. So let's get another check of your forecast with Miss Majestic Storm.
Well, good Friday afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist Majestic Storm, and happy Halloween. It is gorgeous outside. No tricks, just a whole lot of treats today. We're looking at blue, sunny skies for just about everyone, with temperatures rising back into the low 60s this afternoon for our daytime highs. It's going to be great for all the trick-or-treaters tonight, and then tomorrow morning, if you have any plans for Saturday early in the day, we're talking about widespread 30s. It's going to be the coldest morning of the season so far, and we could see some patchy frost. This weekend, bottom line, really pleasant conditions. Yesterday, finally, we had the return of sunshine. 64 is where we'll topped off yesterday, and today we'll top off right around 63. So very, very similar, unless you're in the mountains. That's where it is going to be. Overall, a much cooler day with those temperatures only rising into the mid-40s. Let's take a look at that trick-or-treating forecast. There we go. It's going to be a really nice evening, right around dinner time or so. Temperatures about 60 degrees. Here's 6 o'clock. But once you gear up to head out to go collect candy, or maybe you're having a Halloween party, we're looking at clear skies and temperatures begin to drop down into the lower end of the 50s. So you definitely don't need an umbrella, but it would probably be a good idea to keep some layers handy, because there is a catch. It's not just some cool air, it's dry air, and we also have some breezy winds that you'll notice up there, especially in the mountains. Maybe a little bit of a breeze here in Charlotte at times. But notice as we head into Saturday, a lot of the winds will die down for the lower elevations. We'll continue to watch the mountains though, because this is what it's going to feel like. Here's 10 o'clock tonight. Maybe you're having a big bonfire outside. You will need some extra wood, because those temperatures, they do dip fast. 33 is what it's going to feel like up in Jefferson 10 o'clock tonight. Fast forwarding you into tomorrow though, still really watching the mountains, because it's going to feel like we're into the mid to upper 20s. 26 for your feel like temperature in Boone. Meanwhile, right around our air temperature here in Charlotte. So make sure you're ready for it, whether you're doing something fun outside tonight, or maybe you got to wake up and you work outside in the elements tomorrow. You'll need those layers. And if you have any outdoor pets, make sure they're properly taken care of as well. No rain chances this weekend. Sunday night and into Monday, we could see a little bit of rain, but really it's not too worrisome. It's not too impressive either. 63 degrees today, getting warmer through Sunday. And then on Wednesday, how about some low 60s? The first week of November starts out very, very mild. Again, the big story tomorrow will be how chilly it is early in the day, but it's only going to be one morning where those temperatures really get cool, and then we'll start to see more seasonal conditions. 35 for your low tonight in Hickory, 33 in Boone, and the National Weather Service did issue frost advisories and freeze warnings, so we'll mostly be watching for around Morganton and Lenoir to see some of that actually form. Again, if you have sensitive plants, it might not be a bad idea to make sure they're protected or at least covered up. 38 tomorrow morning in the Queen City, 43 though as we're heading through Sunday. And again, there's that trick-or-treating forecast. Not too bad whatsoever. Could be a good night for a big bowl of some hot chili to help keep you nice and warm. Here's our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, noticing plenty of sunshine. Our average high for this time of the year, it's 68 degrees. We'll top off only at 63, 38 for our low tonight, and then don't forget Saturday night and into Sunday. It's that time of the year we're turning back the clocks, but at least we'll ease you into things next week. We get to continue to hold on to sunny skies with warming temperatures into the upper 60s and low 70s. Hope you have a great weekend and happy Halloween.
All right, happy Halloween again, everyone. That was your forecast with Majestic Storm. We want to get out something happening live now. This is Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro speaking right now. This is happening live, so we're just going to go right to it and see what he has to say.
SNAP cards, that we would not be reimbursed for that funding. I'm really honored to be joined by so many wonderful lawmakers who are here today, who have been sounding the alarm with their concerns about SNAP, who have reached out to me and said, Gov, we got to do something about this. These are wonderful people representing your communities. We can't ask them to go and try and appropriate funds that we won't get reimbursed for when this is a 100% federally funded initiative. I'm so grateful to all of you for your passion and concern, but let's be real, the Trump administration is putting us in a very, very dangerous place. they're both withholding the funds and telling us, don't go spending money on people who are hungry. Don't go investing in our farmers because we're not going to reimburse you. I think that is wrong. I think that is cold-hearted. And listen, here in Pennsylvania, though, I think we need to lead by example. And the example we set is to love thy neighbor. The example we set is from a famous Pennsylvanian, albeit on the other side of the state, that when there's a challenge, Mr. Rogers told us to look for the helpers. Phil Abundance, you guys are the helpers. These lawmakers are helpers. Everyone here who cares deeply about their neighbors and helping them get the food that they need, you are the helpers. That is why I'm joining with those helpers. And just a few hours ago, in my office in Harrisburg, I signed a disaster declaration, which will allow us to meet the needs of hungry Pennsylvanians who are facing a food crisis brought about by the federal government's unwillingness to feed people. As a result of my disaster declaration that I signed, our administration will now immediately drive out $5 million in state funding to food banks like Phil Abundance that will allow them to purchase more healthy food from local sources, including Pennsylvania farmers, to provide food assistance to the millions of Pennsylvanians who are in need. This funding is going to be distributed similar to how funding goes out through the Pennsylvania Agriculture Surplus System, known as PASS. That's an existing initiative under the Department of Agriculture led by Secretary Russell Redding that has already driven out $35.5 million of state funds through the programs to 13 food banks across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that serve each of our 67 counties. And I again need to thank these state lawmakers who are here, who've consistently voted in favor of my budgets that include this funding. And in the budget that we are getting done now, it's going to include additional funding for this initiative, and I want to thank them for their work. Through this initiative, the Commonwealth will be able to drive out funding to Feeding Pennsylvania, which then distributes the money to our food banks, including Phil Abundance, who can then use those dollars to purchase fresh food from farmers and food vendors. When I signed this declaration earlier, that also allows us to cut through the red tape and get funds to food banks as quickly as possible. The dollars that I've released today will be in our food banks, allowing them to purchase more food this coming week. There is no delay. We are getting stuff done here in Pennsylvania. The declaration I signed also provides me as governor with more authority and more tools to address this crisis. But let me be clear, Pennsylvania cannot possibly fill the gap left by losing $366 million a month, which is the amount of money that goes on individual SNAP cards each month here in Pennsylvania. And remember, the feds will not reimburse us if we seek to put dollars on that card. So we are instead relying on our food banks, turning to them to make sure that those who are hungry, those who are in need, get the help that they need. In addition to the work we're doing at the state level, over the last 24 hours, I have worked closely with the private sector and asked Pennsylvanians who are fortunate, asked Pennsylvanians who have done well to step up and help their neighbors in this time of need. And I wanted to announce today that as a result of my calls to those leaders in the private sector, we have raised an initial $1 million that will go on top of the state funds that we are releasing. Those individuals have donated to our SNAP Emergency Release Fund. Some of them wanted to be identified or were willing to be identified, and some wanted to do it anonymously. I wanted to take a moment to thank Thomas Tull. I want to take a moment to thank Connie Williams. I want to take a moment to thank Mark Cuban. I want to take a moment to thank David Edelman. Each of these individuals have stepped up in the initial hours of our campaign to help feed Pennsylvanians on top of the private or public dollars that we are releasing. Every single dollar that is raised into the SNAP Emergency Relief Fund will go directly to Feeding Pennsylvania and their network of food banks. Those dollars will not flow through the state. They'll go directly into Feeding Pennsylvania. I want to just say to those Pennsylvanians again how grateful I am that they are stepping up, and I want to invite others who are fortunate in this time of need to step up and help as well. Pennsylvania is a wonderful place where people look out for one another. They lift one another up, and in moments of darkness, this Commonwealth can always find some light. And so I want to thank those who have already agreed to step up and urge others to do the same. Look, I think making sure our neighbors have enough to eat, it's one of the most basic foundational things that we can do. Our food banks do an amazing job of that with an assist from our wonderful farmers to help people who are in need, people who are hungry. It really is a righteous cycle. And I want to invite anyone who is fortunate enough in their lives to contribute to the SNAP Emergency Relief Fund. And if you can't contribute to the SNAP Emergency Relief Fund, come do a shift here at Philabundance. Go over to Share, go to Jerry, go wherever you can to make a difference. Volunteer your time and help your neighbors who are in need. That's something my family and I have done for many years, and I must tell you, it's a beautiful thing to not only pack those boxes, but then take those boxes to the people who need it most and see the smile on their face, the relief on their face, knowing that their neighbors were there to help them. In the midst of all of this, I want our fellow Pennsylvanians to just remember who we're talking about here. 1 out of every 8 people who walk down the streets in our Commonwealth rely on SNAP. We're talking about that single mom who's working long hours, who's doing all the right things, but struggling to pay the bills and just needs a little bit of extra help. That grandmom here in South Philly who can't work, who's got a disability, but needs a little bit more help to be able to cover the groceries for her or maybe for one of her grandchildren. These are real people, and we can't lose sight of that. With all the bickering and the fighting and chaos in D.C., we have to remember these are real people who need help, and that's why Pennsylvania is standing up to do this now. I know folks are worried, and I know that what we're doing here is important, but it can't possibly meet the full gap that exists. We're going to keep doing everything we can to pump more money into these food banks and help people in their time of need. And I just want to invite all of our fellow Pennsylvanians to do the same to help us here. And if you are someone who is in need, if you're wondering where you turn tomorrow when you don't get your SNAP help, I want you to dial 211, or I want you to go to pa211.org, and you can find a food bank in your area that's going to be receiving this extra help, and they'll have what you need to help you stay on your feet. Most importantly, to my fellow Pennsylvanians, I want you to know I got your back, and we're here for you. Thank you. With that, it really is my pleasure now to bring up Robin Perkins. She is not only a SNAP recipient, but a participant in Philabundance's community kitchen program, a wonderful person who just has like a warmth to her that I picked up on immediately when we got the chance to meet a few moments ago. I want you to hear from Robin. I want you to understand the impact these SNAP cuts are having. Ladies and gentlemen, please meet Robin Perkins.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm Robin Perkins. I was born and raised in Nicetown, Philly, and I'm currently a resident of South Philadelphia. I'm a student in Philabundance Community Job Training Program. Throughout life, I've utilized public benefits such as SNAP and WIC. I recently lost my job of 7 years in April 2025, but I had to figure out what I wanted to do next, so I connected to Philabundance's Community Kitchen. Throughout life, I've been a SNAP participant, both as a mother, raising children, and even now as a single woman and a student. I have close family members that utilize SNAP. I have been receiving communication on SNAP being paused because of government shutdown, and it makes me sigh and ask myself, what can I do? What SNAP means to me, as a person, I need to make tough choices when I'm going grocery shopping. What can I buy? Will it cover that? Now that entire resource is gone for the month of November. Last time I received benefits was October. I have $30 left that I'm holding on to for the holiday season. I want people to know why I think funding SNAP is so important. It's the only resource for obtaining food for some people.
All right, we are breaking into that live coverage out of Pennsylvania, where Governor Josh Shapiro and other officials were discussing the impact of SNAP benefits. Of course, federal judge just came in and said that they have to be distributed. We are still waiting for more information on how that is going to happen, because this will be coming from a different emergency contingency fund. So our Walker Lawson will have more on that at 5 and 6. So hopefully we'll get some more clarity on how and when those SNAP benefits will be distributed. But definitely good news for the 1.4 million people in North Carolina that rely on it. Want to get to the biggest breaking news of the day, though. Of course, CMPD has announced we have a new chief who will be starting December 1st. This is Estella Patterson, currently, or most recently, in Raleigh, the police chief there, but she is no stranger to Charlotte, working here for decades as a deputy. So definitely really good news for Charlotte to both have that announcement and have someone with experience here. Luckily, in studio today, we have someone who knows her personally. This is Sheriff Ricky Robbins. Sheriff, thank you so much for, or excuse me, Sergeant, I'm reading off of your, he's running for sheriff. Sorry, I just prophesized.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I guess. Didn't mean to accidentally endorse
No
you
problem.
right now. I'm reading off of your page because I wanted to pull up some of the stuff that you had discussed. But Sergeant Ricky Robbins, you have worked with her. Tell me about this decision, this announcement today, and your experience working with her.
Stella's a person that is going to be good to work with. She's very good in the community. She's engaging. She's engaging with the employees. So I think it's going to be good for the community and the department. She has an outgoing atmosphere about her. I mean, she lights up the room when she comes in, and she's definitely 100% in the law enforcement and making sure that the right things are done.
Yeah. What has your experience been like? I mean, you said you've been there her whole career. She was in CMPD from, I think, 1996 to 2021. So to have someone with that much experience in this department, what do you think that means for the department?
I think it's very good for the department, because anytime you have someone that's at that level that knows the lay of the land, knows the community, knows the officers, that she's going to be somebody that's easily to adapt. She won't have a lot of changes out front because she knows what's already been done. She'll make sure that she's improving and going forward in everything she does. But Stella has a way about her. She's got a good thought process, and she's just not going to have a knee-jerk reaction. So I think that the community is going to love her, because she is very, like I said, outgoing with the community. The department, they're going to grasp to her because they've been used to working with her and know that she's somebody that you can talk to, and that she's going to try to do what's best for everyone.
I think accessibility is such a difficult thing to balance in this role, because you're trying to do so many things in a big city like this, and then also be accessible to the people of the community. I spoke with Nate Morbido earlier. He's our investigative reporter who actually interviewed her when she was here back in 2021. How do you think that will look like for her? Because transparency, I know that's part of your platform and your campaign, and it's something that people have been asking for from CMPD and the city. What do you think that will look like for her, and what do you think needs to happen for the department for that to be more accessible?
I think that, number one, I know that Stella will be transparent. I know that she knows and has shown that any situation that comes up, it needs to be addressed immediately. So I don't think there'll be a thing of dancing around it, trying to avoid the situation. I think that when anyone needs to get a hold of Stella, regardless of the situation, community or internally, that she's going to make sure that every avenue is open and that she's willing to listen. And like I said before, you know, she has a good thought process, but the biggest thing she has is Stella's ability. You can tell when you're having a conversation with her that she's engaging, she's listening, and that the next day you can see that she listened and went through that thought process, and probably some of the things that you told her that you were interested in, that you see those things come to fruition.
Now, she's been in Raleigh for a couple years as the chief there. What do you think that experience will do to be able to kind of have an external point of view to come back to Charlotte now?
I think she's going to have a better advantage than a lot of people that were promoted with inside, being that when we're all in one department and you see it from one angle, that's the way you view things. When you had an ability to leave Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police, go to Raleigh, lead those officers, the good and the bad, she can put in a basket, and now she can say, okay, listen, this is what worked in Raleigh, this is not what's going to work, this will work, and she can come back with new ideas, things that she didn't have before, and some of the ideas that she had before, and she may say that, hey, maybe I should have used this in Raleigh because it worked in Charlotte. So like I said, I don't think she's just coming in to just change everything, but she should have a good foundation now after leading in Raleigh and doing such a good job in Raleigh.
And I know she's got that, we keep coming back to that foundation, that basis of many years in service here that she can fall back on and think about. Of course, though, the department has changed over the last couple of years. We've had some big stories. We talked about, trying to fix low morale and trust in leadership. What do you think has changed in the department since she left in 2021 that maybe will be different now that she's coming back 4 years later?
I think it's going to be a learning curve as far as a couple of years is a long time in law enforcement when you're out. And so I think it's a learning curve of some of the changes that have been made, some of the things and challenges that we've had. She's going to have to overcome those. But I think because of her ability to engage and work with the officers and the community, I think it's going to be a common ground thing, and I think she's going to come in and she's going to correct anything that she thinks needs to be corrected very quickly, and I think it's going to be a smooth transition for her because she's already willing to come in here with her ideas that will go forward, not backwards, and not stay neutral. So I think for the department, the officers, I think they're going to be behind her, and they're going to give her a fair chance, and I think she's going to appreciate that, and I think it's going to help her.
Yeah, you mentioned the transition, of course, with a big position like this. That's always kind of a daunting task to pass the torch, but I'm sure it's helpful that Chief Johnny Jennings has already come out and said he's excited to see what she does here.
Oh, yeah, Chief Jennings is going to be very supportive, anything he can do going out. I mean, and the blessing is that they've worked together over the years, so neither is a stranger, and so they can sit down at the table and he can say, Stella, these are some things that I've been working on. These are some things you may need to work on. I know you have your ideas, and common things that we can do. But at the end of the day, everybody wants to make sure that the officers are taken care of, and the community wants to make sure that they're taken care of. And they both want to make sure that they have a voice at the table and people are listening.
I know the Fraternal Order of Police said this was not necessarily a surprise. This was a name that had been brought up a few times in the process. Did you have any inkling that this might be the decision that was made?
Oh, yeah, I mean, Stella's name's been out there, and I think because of her going to Raleigh and getting that experience and exposure, I think that helped her greatly. I think she had an upper hand because she was able to go out and show that, hey, I can leave Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, go to another department, do well, and then come back and finish out where I started. I think she's just blessing her to finish something that she started.
Yeah, and I know we're excited to hopefully get a chance to talk to her soon. I think Monday we're expecting to hear more. Anything else you think people need to know or that are missing in this conversation?
No, just need to know that Stella's here. I think Stella's here to stay. Stella loves Charlotte and the community, such as I do. I mean, and she thinks of this as her home. So I think that she knows that she's going to be here for us, and the community loves her already. And I think once she gets out and start engaging more, that they're going to find out that we have a good police chief and somebody that's going to be here for a while, hopefully.
Yeah. I know, of course, as I mentioned at the beginning, spoiler alert, you're running for sheriff of the county.
Correct.
Anything that while you're here, I know this is kind of separate, that you wanted to say about how your campaign has been? I know we're a year or so out, but how's that been going?
I think it's going well. I think the people are receiving me very well. I think I have a lot of good support, and the blessing for me is being born here in Charlotte and raised in Charlotte. The community, I mean, my roots to Myers Park High School, roots to the community and law enforcement. And the other good thing now is Stella's somebody that I know I can work with. So I was always waiting to hear who the new chief of police was going to be, because running for sheriff, and once I get in the office, I wanted to make sure it was somebody that I knew I had a good solid base with, and I know that me and Stella can make good things happen for Charlotte and Mecklenburg County.
Yeah, that collaboration between those two departments is really important.
Correct. I mean, and the two people at the top have to be people that can communicate, and the public has to also see that. They have to see it and they have to believe it, and I know that we're two of the same that want the best for the department and the community.
All right. Well, Sergeant Robbins, thank you so much for coming in. Of course, this is the big story of the day, so we appreciate you taking the time.
No problem, and glad to have Stella here.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Live Impact News. Carlene.
It's been a day. It's Friday. Yeah, we're a little tongue-tied. You understand.
My mouth is getting caught on all the Halloween candy.
That's true. We've been eating candy this whole time.
If you see me start to cough a couple times, know that I had a Butterfinger.
It's just the M&Ms.
I know. And I had the peanut M&Ms too, so they're like stuck in. Anyway. We're going to get back to Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania. He is addressing, he and multiple officials are addressing right now impact of SNAP benefits potentially being cut. Potentially now they'll be funded by a different contingency fund. So we'll see what that looks like. Hopefully he has some more information.
Places like Philabundance.
How fast can these funds roll out? Like, when could we expect, or when could food banks expect to receive?
The funds will roll out within hours, and then the food banks will receive that money from Feeding Pennsylvania, and they'll be purchasing food within a day or so. And so I think we can expect that over the course of the next several days, the supplies that exist at food banks will increase.
Governor, you mentioned even if the administration plays ball with that ruling, it could take 10 days to get at least partial SNAP benefits rolled out. How much do you think $5 million buys you? How much time do you
Remember, it's the $5 million that the state has put in, combined with the private sector dollars we're raising. We're already just over $1 million. We want to be able to meet the need for as long as it exists. I hope the federal government ends the shutdown. I hope the Trump administration in the short term adheres to the rule of law and this judge's ruling. We'll do what we need to do here in Pennsylvania to look after our neighbors.
Can you just clearly go over, like, what should a SNAP benefit, what should somebody who gets SNAP benefits, what specifically should they do starting midnight tonight?
If you're a SNAP benefit recipient, you will not get the money on your card tomorrow, November 1st. And as a result, I would presume that the vast majority, if not all 2 million Pennsylvanians who don't receive that money, are going to be in dire straits. They're going to be in need. They can now go to a food bank across Pennsylvania, and they can access a place like a Philabundance that has more product as a result of the additional dollars that are coming to them from the state and from those generous people in the private sector who are contributing to this fund. So the hope is, even if a SNAP recipient didn't have to come to Philabundance before because they were just getting by, that now they know they can come to Philabundance, they can come to Share, they can come to one of these other places and get the help that they need as a result of the additional dollars that we're providing, and thus the additional food that will end up on these shelves.
And that's the 211 number.
If they are interested in finding a food bank near them, they can call 211 or go to pa211.org. Yeah.
Governor, how long going to be Pennsylvania in emergency? And I would like a message from you. The next week we have election. Decision of voters could be crucial for the next 4 years. As leader of Pennsylvania, what is your message to voters?
Well, let me just say, I hope people get out and exercise their right to vote. There's important elections on the ballot, including for the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, and I hope they get out and vote.
There's some confusion. There's 2 lawsuits going on, one that you have with other states and then your own. Can you just clarify?
Judges ruled in 2 cases. I cited the one that we were directly leading on. In both cases, the judges ruled that the Trump administration needs to release those contingency funds. There are some questions as to what the relief will look like. The real issue here is whether or not the Trump administration will follow the judge's ruling, or whether they will appeal and seek to stop the judge's ruling from going into effect. I've got a history of suing this administration, and by the way, winning every time. And when I do that, sometimes they have just acquiesced and returned the money to the Commonwealth. Other times they've chosen to appeal and in effect stop the relief from coming. In this case, the relief would be providing the dollars for SNAP recipients. We'll have to see what they do. I sure hope they do the right thing. They don't appeal. They load the money up on people's SNAP cards, and they give the people the help they need. What we know is even if they do that, we're still going to have this kind of week to 10-day lag time where people are going to have extra need, and when they have that extra need, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is now there for them through wonderful food banks like Philabundance.
So that SNAP money wouldn't appear like at midnight tonight, even if they acquiesce?
It will take roughly a week to 10 days should the administration choose to adhere to the judge's ruling. Yeah.
You've met the last 4 days with the leaders of the two branches of the General Assembly. How are these meetings going without divulging, specifics? And do you anticipate them returning to Harrisburg?
Here's what I'll say about the budget. The leaders can speak for themselves as to their scheduling. I brought the leaders of all 4 caucuses into my office multiple times a day for the last 4 days. We were at it together last night till, 11 o'clock or something at night, and back at it very early this morning. I feel very, very good about where we are. I'm not going to get ahead of the group here. I'm not going to get ahead of the leaders. But I think we understand one another. We're in a very good position, and I hope I'll have more to say on this very soon. Yeah.
I'm not a media. I'm a pantry. But I have a question.
Sure.
So, because we interface with these people, every day, is it 7 to 10 business days, or is it 7 to 10 calendar days?
In terms of the federal, yeah.
Business.
Well, no. The state money is available. If the federal government chooses to put the money into SNAP, probably takes 7 to 10 business days. Our dollars from the state, as a result of my emergency declaration, are available immediately, and we expect additional additional food to be available in food banks for people who are in need within just a couple days here, a few days. Okay? Anything else from the media? We're good? Yeah.
Sorry, I have a SEPTA question. Is there an alternative plan to ensure that the removal of train cars after inspections does not have a major impact on the provision of transport services in the region?
I can tell you that we are spending a significant amount of time working with SEPTA, our partners at the federal level, and obviously the state under Secretary Carroll's leadership, and at the local level with the mayor and county commissioners. And we are working to address the Silverliner issue. They are going through testing now. I expect that testing to be completed over the course of the next 2 weeks. And when that is done, that will give us a better picture of what relief is needed, and then we're all going to work together to address it. Okay? Thank you all very much. Thank you.
All right, we are going to head to a break real quick because it looks like that has ended out of Pennsylvania, with Governor Josh Shapiro giving us an update on what Pennsylvania needs in terms of SNAP funding as we head into November 1st, where that was pretty questionable for a while. It's still unclear now that the federal judge has stepped in and said, yes, that emergency funding has to be used. Still unclear how and when that will be distributed. So something that we will be following in our newscasts when we come up at 4, 5, and 6, but definitely something to pay attention to. We also know that out of Chester County, we're expecting to get an update from officials on that school building lockdown earlier today, where we know people were detained. So know that we have a crew there. That should be coming up really in the next couple of minutes, hopefully or so. But while we wait for that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in 2. Welcome back. We're going to get another check of your forecast just past 3:30 here, and we want to wait for that Chester County update on the school lockdown from earlier today. You can see the podium is set up and people are there. All the mics are set up. Our camera is all ready to go. Still waiting for officials though. So we're going to take a check of your forecast with Majestic Storm, and if this happens and comes out during the forecast, we'll break in for you.
Well, good Friday afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist Majestic Storm, and happy Halloween. It is gorgeous outside. No tricks, just a whole lot of treats today. We're looking at blue, sunny skies for just about everyone, with temperatures rising back into the low 60s this afternoon for our daytime highs. It's going to be great for all the trick-or-treaters tonight, and then tomorrow morning, if you have any plans for Saturday early in the day, we're talking about widespread 30s. It's going to be the coldest morning of the season so far, and we could see some patchy frost. This weekend, bottom line, really pleasant conditions. Yesterday, finally, we had the return of sunshine. 64 is where we'll topped off yesterday, and today we'll top off right around 63. So very, very similar, unless you're in the mountains. That's where it is going to be. Overall, a much cooler day with those temperatures only rising into the mid-40s. Let's take a look at that trick-or-treating forecast. There we go. It's going to be a really nice evening, right around dinner time or so. Temperatures about 60 degrees. Here's 6 o'clock. But once you gear up to head out to go collect candy, or maybe you're having a Halloween party, we're looking at clear skies and temperatures begin to drop down into the lower end of the 50s. So you definitely don't need an umbrella, but it would probably be a good idea to keep some layers handy, because there is a catch. It's not just some cool air, it's dry air, and we also have some breezy winds that you'll notice up there, especially in the mountains. Maybe a little bit of a breeze here in Charlotte at times. But notice as we head into Saturday, a lot of the winds will die down for their lower elevations. We'll continue to watch the mountains though, because this is what it's going to feel like. Here's 10 o'clock tonight. Maybe you're having a big bonfire outside. You will need some extra wood, because those temperatures, they do dip fast. 33 is what it's going to feel like up in Jefferson, 10 o'clock tonight. Fast forwarding you into tomorrow though, still really watching the mountains, because it's going to feel like we're into the mid to upper 20s. 26 for your feel like temperature in Boone. Meanwhile, right around our air temperature here in Charlotte. So make sure you're ready for it, whether you're doing something fun outside tonight, or maybe you got to wake up and you work outside in the elements tomorrow. You'll need those layers. And if you have any outdoor pets, make sure they're properly taken care of as well. No rain chances this weekend. Sunday night and into Monday, we could see a little bit of rain, but really it's not too worrisome. It's not too impressive either. 63 degrees today, getting warmer through Sunday. And then on Wednesday, how about some low 60s? The first week of November starts out very, very mild. Again, the big story tomorrow will be how chilly it is early in the day, but it's only going to be one morning where those temperatures really get cool, and then
We're breaking into your forecast here because we have got that Chester County press conference on the school lockdown from earlier today. We're going to get straight out to it. Here it is.
Dorsey of the Chester County Sheriff's Office and Interim Superintendent Tammy Snipes of the Chester County School District. Tammy Snipes will only be answering questions regarding the school. The sheriff will be making the full statement regarding the incident on the law enforcement side. We have a few school resource officers standing up here with us. These individuals were directly involved in the response of the incident. They will not be taking any questions. Again, we'll be taking brief questions towards the end. Thank you. Sheriff Max Dorsey.
When faced with danger, the good guys ran towards the threat and saved lives today. My name is Max Dorsey. I'm the sheriff here in Chester. Talk to you about it shortly after noon today at the Chester Park School of Arts here just below our building where we stand today. Shortly after noon, there was a report of a vehicle that had wrecked into the woods near the complex. Someone, an employee of the school complex, notified through the radio the various entities at the school, and that initiated a response and a lockdown protocol. The SROs, which we have SROs at every school in Chester County,
immediately responded, and not just the ones that were assigned to that building, SROs that are assigned to other buildings in the area, they also responded. What happened was this individual, there was a wreck over near the woods. An individual approached the complex building, gained access into the playground area, and then after a few minutes or a few seconds in that playground area, they made entry through a glass window using their head. They entered with busted glass, a classroom, and they took a young child, exited that window, and were engaged by law enforcement there in the playground. Now, once they entered the classroom, there were 3 adult teachers in the classroom. They engaged with the individual. One of the teachers actually fought with that person, but that person was able to leave the room, enter the playground area, which is still a confined space. At that point, multiple SROs engaged with that individual. He was tased. The child was removed from his grasp and was provided medical care immediately. He was placed under arrest, and he, after being taken to the hospital to be checked out, he's now at our detention center. As you can tell from the press release earlier, he's being charged with multiple serious charges: assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature, burglary second degree violent, and most significantly, kidnapping. You know, I in my 30 years of law enforcement, I could have never imagined something like this would be happening on Halloween in our wonderful town in a secure facility. And I'll just tell you that building is secured. Everybody was where they were supposed to be, behind a window, a locked door in their classroom. And someone who had every intention of going into that classroom, he made entry into it. This is part of a bigger thing. We've been training for these incidents for a long time in law enforcement. This was a priority of years ago. Not just to have staff in all of these schools, but to also be able when something bad like this were to happen. And that happened today. We've been practicing this since I've been here. We have coordinated efforts with every entity in Chester County and the surrounding counties, with the state and local law enforcement. I've got a Emergency Management Division, Ed Darby and his staff, because he's really the unit that leads a lot of the training. But what we've trained for the past hour went into place today, and it worked. There are some minor injuries. There is a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of stress that was put out there on staff, teachers, students, parents, the community, and we recognize that. But if there's any good from this, I think it is our community expects us to respond appropriately with great force, and that happened today. When there was a threat, we met that threat. We ran towards that, and I'm very proud of these men and women who are up here standing before you today. There was a physical altercation. That are standing up here did that. They were involved in a physical altercation, tasing. We for these events all the time, and I told you they're organized by Ed Darby and his staff at the Emergency Management, so I want to thank him. You respond how you train.
Hey, Hey, we're
And I'm
aware of
just so-
some issues with our connectivity here, and we're working to get that fixed. But since this is such an important story, we're dealing with an attempted kidnapping here in Chester County. We do want to stay on it as long as we can, but know that we are aware of it and are working to get it fixed.
I would say we rank up there with some of the best on how to respond to these situations. That does not mean it is all rainbows and unicorns. It is very stressful, it's very chaotic, and I think I used the comment today, you can have the best plan in the world until you get hit in the mouth. And that's sort of kind of how we felt today, but when you're in the weeds, you feel like, oh man, this is so chaotic, what's happening? But when you take a step back, everything that you trained for could happen. So there are a lot of people I want to thank. I want to thank our Chester EMS, who they were right there as soon as we arrived, providing whatever medical assistance we needed. The South Carolina Highway Patrol, they showed up. SLED was here within minutes. The FBI even came and provided whatever assistance they could. Our solicitor's office, since the moment this happened, we've been engaged with our solicitor's office to make sure that we're making. A lot of people who don't get recognition is our dispatchers. As you can imagine, when those messages started going out to our community, people were calling 911 wanting to know what's going on. And so they were inundated with hundreds of calls. And so I'm really proud of them, and I want to thank them. I want to thank the Chester Police Department, who also, this is outside their jurisdiction, but they sent personnel here, and they were actually engaged in the assisting us to secure that guy. This worked out again because of working relationships that we've had with the school district. That was a relationship that I was determined to build when I became sheriff, and that has happened. And we've had a lot of difficult situations involving schools, and we have been able to resolve those situations because of the working professional relationship we have. And I want to thank Ms. Tammy Snipes for that. Although she's been on the job for 31 days, she has handled it like a champ. And so I could not ask for a better partner in this regard. I want to thank the teachers and the administration there at the school. Y'all, they went through a tough time today. And you know, we talk about how we're a first responder, and we are, but they were there before we were, and they were actively engaged in protecting their children, and so I could not be more proud of them. Those principals and assistant principals. Ms. Snipes called members of the district office to come down and help with this. So I really want to thank all those teachers and administrators, because they are heroes today. I want to thank all the deputies. We had an all-call, so pretty much most of the people that are employed with the Chester Sheriff's Office, and you're a commissioned law enforcement officer, you got called out there today, even though you may have to work tonight. They came out, and they came out because they wanted to be a part of keeping this place safe. And certainly, last but not least, I want to personally thank these SROs who are standing up here. And I don't throw that word out, hero, flippantly. They are heroes. And as this investigation moves forward and details are revealed, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll understand that. But I don't want to just limit it to these people, these men and women, because we have an SRO in every school in Chester County. And just as these individuals ran to the threat, these men and women at these other schools, they do the same thing every day. And so I'm incredibly proud of them, and I appreciate what they do. A bad thing happened today, but a child is safe, although with some injuries. A child is safe, teachers are safe, and the systems that were in place, the protocols that are in place, they work today. And that's why everybody is safe. And so I'll be glad to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Sheriff. What can you say about the motive here? Can you say anything about whether this was domestic, was mental health an issue here, drugs? What may have motivated this?
I don't want to comment. I think it'd just be too premature right now. There was a domestic element to this initially, and then it expanded. But I can't definitively tell you what the motive was.
Did the suspect involved know the child that he grabbed?
No, the suspect did not know the child and did not know anyone in that classroom.
What's the age of the suspect? That's the one thing that's really sad.
Born in 2004, but we'll get you there.
Okay. And as far as, may I ask you a question? As far as this classroom is concerned, just a normal.
Yes, ma'am.
Third graders, fourth graders, school, but what kind of class was going on
It
when
was,
the window was broken?
it was a normal pre-K classroom.
It was a pre-K classroom.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. And obviously this just happened. And I'm sure there's lots of conversations that take place after this, but initially, will there, at this point, do you anticipate that there will be any safety changes? This is like learning in real time, right? Could possibly happen. Do you anticipate there being any safety changes that just kind of come to you right away?
As with any situation, we always debrief. Sheriff Dorsey has talked about, we are trained. We go through protocols with our staff. They responded as heroes that they are today. These SROs responded as the heroes they are. And so with our debriefing, with everything, you always look at new modern techniques, but of my teachers, of my paraprofessionals, of my students, of the community that has come forth, and I honestly couldn't have changed anything that they did. I'm proud of the cooperation with the Sheriff's Department, how quickly all of the departments responded to this. To answer your question, will we debrief? Yes. Will we always debrief? Yes. But at this point, I don't know of anything we could have changed to have prevented this at this moment.
And was this arts?
Arts.
Can you, I'm sorry, whoever. Is it a man or a woman?
Man.
Man. Did the man, like, bang his head into the window? Was there any kind of, like, different kind of window pane that the school has or anything, just regular glass?
It's the normal school windows.
And you can imagine, this is a double pane school building window, so it's not like something we'd have in our house.
No.
We are all surprised at how he was able to use his head to bust that window out.
As far as the children are concerned, obviously this is a normal week, right?
Yes, it's a normal week.
Next week, plan on having any sort of or anyone like that on?
As we always do in a crisis situation or in the event of anything that happens, we always make available counseling services to not only our students but also to our staff, and we are already activating those things.
How are the teachers doing that were in the altercation with the suspect? I know you guys said that y'all kind of prepared for this, but it's hard to believe that this is something that you can kind of prepare for, somebody coming through the window of a school. How are the teachers that had to fight off this suspect doing?
They are exactly as you expect. Their number one concern are the children in that building, and although we spoke to them, their concern was to get back to their children and help to get those children safely into the arms of their parents, and so they kept doing their job today.
You went from lockdown to a dismissal. Kind of explain the process, how you got to that stage.
Sheriff Dorsey and I communicated as to what we needed to do at that point because, of course, you know, it was still a crime scene. But what we wanted to do was to allow our parents to reunify with their children as soon as possible out of just the concern they do have as parents. And so we ordered reunification off-site very recently, but we knew we could do that on-site, so we made a plan. The district office staff, I'm so proud of them. They activated, went down there to assist with our teachers. There are 3 schools in that building, and so those 3 schools with those principals, all those teachers worked together, and they had a plan to put our car riders into one area, our bus riders, of course, onto their buses, and it was a well-oiled machine. I could not be more proud as to how they did that.
I don't recall if you've ever dealt with this at a principal level, but this is the first time as a superintendent level. What was going through your mind this morning?
We knew that safety of our children is the first thing going through our mind. I knew that I needed to be in constant communication with Sheriff Dorsey. Of course, we were both on scene, meeting with our faculty that were involved, meeting with law enforcement, ensuring that the building was secure and that we could dismiss our children and get them safely back to their parents.
There's been a little bit of discussion on social media, as there always is, about how much information the school district was putting out about this, that parents were freaking out because they didn't know what was going on. Explain why the district wasn't able to tell pretty much everything, and I don't know if that might be a law enforcement question also, but why the district wasn't able to tell everything in those phone messages that were sent out.
Yeah, so I want Chester to know that when things like this happen, very regularly our PIOs get together. They're either talking on side one another, and me and the superintendent do the same thing. We treat this as a crime scene though, so this is a criminal investigation, and the most important thing is to maintain the integrity of the evidence and that information. The other side of that coin is we want to make sure we're putting out accurate information. We feel like we've worked really hard to build trust in this community, and the last thing we want to do is put out some inaccurate information that's going to cause that trust to be broken. And so I would rather be limited in what we put out to ensure accuracy than to put out a bunch of information that we're not as confident about. And what Ms. Snipes said, it reminded me, I want to thank Chester. I want to thank the parents. I want to thank this community, because I recognize when you get an alert like that something's happening at your kid's school, that you want to do one thing. You want to hold your child. And I get that. And so I really appreciate the parents out there recognizing that we are doing all that we can to keep your child safe, and we want to get them back to you as quickly as possible. And so I'm just very proud that our community trusted us to go through that process, and they responded appropriately when we asked them to show up to pick up their child.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming. Happy Halloween.
Miss Tammy, Tina. I think we're supposed to talk last week. I wanted to ask you.
You've been watching Live Impact News here on WCNC Plus. A shocking story out of Chester County today. An attempted kidnapping at a school. Suspects entering a classroom through a broken window and grabbing a child. The child, we're told, has been to the hospital for further examination. They are stable. They do have some minor injuries. We have learned a suspect has been arrested for assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature, burglary, kidnapping. You just heard from school district officials. A shocking story out of Chester County. The lockdown we covered here on Live Impact News was around a little after noon, and that was happening for about an hour or so, and then they dismissed school around 1:15. We also showed you that here on Live Impact News. With that, we are going to leave for your Friday stream. So stay tuned here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. The 4 o'clock show will be happening in just a few minutes with the latest on your local and national headlines. Thank you for being with us. This is Carlene Bragg, your producer. Thank you.